Up for that. Let's get recording in progress, and I've got it going. Got it. I've
And
got a tick. Got it.
and I've started the doofer.
I got it. I
Doofer.
got the recording in progress.
We just need to get up the noties. Hello, noties.
Set up professional. Set up professional audio in audio settings. That's because I played music earlier on, and it's come up saying you were playing music. Would you like to set up professional audio in audio settings?
Very nice.
Oh, no, no, I can't be fucking asked. Lovely.
I put.
Cool. What are you up to this weekend anyway? Are you fanning about up at Harlow Alley?
I'd like to go into Harley's and get lunch because I'm overdue it. But there you go.
I'd like to get into Harley's for a wee look and maybe try and wangle a shot in the lowrider ST. You know what I mean?
Oh, honestly. Well, what's the weather like tomorrow? Probably garbage.
No, it's garbage tomorrow. It's Sunday's nice. So, to be fair though, I don't know if I want to go into the lowrider ST because I was looking at the pricing of it, right? And I don't think I can get it within my budget. You know,
Aye.
because I just got the basic lowrider ST at 21 grand. I mean, the Harley website's crap for trying to work out what your finance payments are. It's rubbish.
Aye. That's
It doesn't actually tell you anything.
that's
It's
what
absolutely terrible,
folks
right?
into the showroom. Come on.
But basically I put it in and it wouldn't even give me. I'd put in right. I just put in. I'll just stand it in standard
Should we,
£5,000 deposit.
should we cover this in
Base.
chicken?
Aye, let's do that. Aye, good idea.
Right.
It's a good shout. Let's go for it. Right, shall we? Right, start again. 3, 2, 1, go.
Chicken time.
Check-in time.
Right.
Check-in. Chicken time.
Ian, who you doing this?
Well, what have I been up to? What am I doing? What have I been up to? What am I doing? Right. Well, we went to the Scottish Moors bike show, so we'll talk a bit about that later on. The two of us, the average bikers, were there. Average bikers represent, yes. Magic Man. We were up there. We're looking at the bikes. We're looking at them. We're sitting on them. We're talking about them. Hey, love a bit of magic motorcycles. Yep.
Am we all the way from
But,
Manchester?
all the way from Manchester. Yay. So, also, I'm getting closer to my Spice Girls moment. So,
That should be a button.
and
I should get that on the button. Do, do, do,
yeah.
That's going to be a button.
Well, when it's going to happen, I think I should become get it on, because tonight is that. Yeah, that's. I don't want to be singing too much Spice Girls in case people think you actually know that song about too well. So, yes. So I'm thinking about that. So I wouldn't mind a wee trip up to Harley Davidson, up to Triumph Wine for West Coast, to have a wee chit chat with the guys about that. I keep going back on the website and configuring my ideal Triumph Speedmaster. So I think if I'm going to go for anything, I'm going to go for the Speedmaster. I think. Because I think I went on the Harley website, and the Harley website is rubbish, if you're listening, Mr. Harley Davidson, for trying to work out finance payments, right? And I'll tell you what I did,
Mr.
right?
Harley
So,
Davidson. It was Mr. Harley
yeah.
and Mr. Davidson, aye.
Yeah, Mr. Harley Davidson. Yeah, absolutely. So, Harold's and Davy. Harold's and Davy, if you're listening, right? Your website to try and work out a finance payment is rubbish, right? Because it doesn't make sense. Yeah, because it's giving you the same amount of monthly, whether you tick PCP or you tick HP. And I know they're two different concepts. Yeah.
Yes.
When you put down
one's a
what your
source.
minimum monthly payment is, it still tells you there's no bikes you can afford. Right? even when your minimum monthly payment is say £200, right?
Yes.
Now a £200 minimum monthly payment with a £5,000 deposit, for instance, is one of the parameters I tried to put in, right? Minimum, right?
Monthly payment.
So yeah, that's giving you, even that's your budget, right? That is, if you put that in the Triumph website for a Speedmaster, a Speedmaster which you've pimped up to 16 grand, right? Yep, it's still telling you that it's only £130 a month, right? So you're like, well, that's Pimp My Ride is telling me that. Yeah, it's telling me the only bike it would give me a quote on was the Nightster. With that, yeah, and that's a similar price to obviously to the Triumph, right? Similar price to
Yep.
Triumph, and it would, and even then it said it was like 200 quid a month, and I'm going, that's no, that can't be right. That can't be right. Yeah, and
No.
it's and we know that West Coast I've got delivery of a very gorgeous, sexy white lowrider ST, which I would love to take out of a wee lot, but I'd like to know what the monthly payments could be in that with the two bikes I've got, because if it was within an affordable amount, then I'd be super, super mega tempted to go for it, right?
Aye.
I loved sitting on it. We saw it at the bike show, right? And I really liked it. And actually Susan even looked at it and she went, "Oh, that's a lovely bike," right? So, so I'm thinking, well, if I could push the boat out a wee bit, but it wouldn't. It said it would be another £141 a month on top of what you put in your parameters. So that would mean that bike with a £5,000 deposit on a £20,000 bike would be £341 a month if the website was correct. So clearly there's something
But
widdly widdly wonky with that website.
that kind of tweak your final payment, and that did it tweak your miles, how many miles you do,
Yep.
or did it do all that?
Yeah, it did all that. And that was 4,000 miles a month.
A month?
A month, wow.
A month? Where the fuck are
Geez,
you
well,
going?
that's a
Oh,
sore
that
arse, isn't
now.
it? That a year, right? That was that. And all these kind of things, yeah. And it didn't matter whether you clicked PCP or whether you clicked HP. It gave you the same information. So something is there's something awry at the Circle K. That's not it. There's some what's the quote from thingy?
The thingy?
There's something at the Circle K from Bill and Ted.
Can't remember.
You know how the Circle K is where Rufus appears in the phone
Aye.
box and all that, and there's some, hey dude, there's something at the Circle K. That's what it is. Can't remember what it is.
No.
Can't remember. Anyway, so done that. I've been out on had a wee whiz around on Maverick. Yep. Went down, had a wee whiz around on Abigail, so which is quite cool. Darren, it's just time to be real, mate. I'm going to be real with you on your
All right.
podcast. Give us a smile. There we go. Just be real. That's right. Quite often when you're sitting and you get a be real thing, it's like you're just sitting on your desk and you're going, another picture of a coffee mug. So it's quite cool that I'm
Another
actually doing
picture
something.
of me at my desk.
Me at my desk. I'm at my desk again. So there we go. Yeah. So I had the wee bits of the bike. So Abigail, we'll maybe try and go down this weekend to get Abigail out for it and bring Abigail home, so that I can take Abigail in to West Coast and see what they will offer me for her as part of
Ooh,
a trade in. Mm. And also see what they'll offer me for Maverick. I'll put the two together. You know.
it's getting
There we
close.
go. It's getting close. It's getting close.
Mm.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. John's got his mod 2 next week. So
Ooh.
and he's got another lesson tomorrow. So fingers crossed
Although,
all that
although
goes
when you're
well.
listening,
And he
although when you're listening to this, it's probably this week.
passed. Yeah, he has
Aye.
passed.
And there's a reason to that, which will come on in the turn in a minute.
Yeah, we're coming on minute, but it's 21st anyway. So it may have happened by now. If it has happened, we'll pop something up on the socials. Wish him a congratulations or a commiserations. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Better still, if there's nothing on the socials after the 21st, then it's no good news. However, he has confirmed he's looking forward to coming on the podcast and chit chatting.
Oh, is he going to come
So
on when once he's
yeah, he's going
passed?
to come on and chit chat. So
So
well, maybe ask him if his pal wants to come on with him.
if his pal wants to come on, more on that
We'll talk
later.
about that later. We'll talk about that later. More on that later. More on that later. Yes. Anyway, what about yourself, Jaren? What about yourself? Give us a wee bit
Uh,
of your foul behaviour, because it's chicken time. Chicken foul. Do you like it?
no, I can't even get to the button. Where's the
No, I
button?
can't get with that.
I failed to touch it.
White,
It's the wrong
a
one.
white spicy cheer, isn't it?
There you go. No,
There
it was
we
rim
go.
shot.
Perfect.
Rids for rim shot.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one properly through my ears, so
Aye, well,
that's fine.
trust me, it's
So
there.
anyway, give us your check-in time.
What have I done? I haven't really done anything actually on the bike. Um, oh,
Oh,
actually, that's
that's
not
not
true.
true. That's
That
not
is not true.
true.
We did do that. West Coast had their adventure day again, which we did go
Yep.
and have a good blast on, which was fun. Um, the puddles and duck galore, which was very good. But obviously had to bring the bike back and absolutely got it. And spent
Aye.
an awful lot of time cleaning the chain, because between that and the salt and everything that's on the roads, it's no, you can't put the bike away looking like that. It's just not good at all. Um,
No.
But other than that, I'm trying to kind of buy wee bits and bobs to get prepared for obviously going to be in May with the old chicken strips. So I've been adding bits every kind of couple of weeks, wee bits and
You got
bobs.
your files yet?
Oh, what?
Your files yet for it?
No. That usually is about a month before we head out.
Ah, right, cool.
Usually get the kind of pack. Can't remember what they call it. They say rider pack or whatever it is, but that'll all come because I really want to try that on the old Harley.
What app is it? What app is it you download that stuff to? Is it Kalimoto?
But you can download it to Kalimoto, but I've been googling that and see the files are GPX files, and you can
Right.
upload them into the Harley app, which means I can get them up on the screen for Harley,
Oh,
which would be quite good.
oh, nice one.
So we'll see.
Cool.
But I've also ordered a nice wee like a kind of sat nav bracket for my display, so that if I'm putting my top box on, my tank bag on, it kind of cuts at the bottom quarter of the screen, which is probably not the best for sat nav. So this little bracket means I can put my phone up there as well, and I could use the phone as sat nav, and it's right next
Ah,
to
cool.
the
Nice one.
plug in, so I can keep my phone
Nice one.
charged.
I
So
look
that
forward to seeing that when you've. I look forward to seeing that when you've mounted it.
when it gets here,
Mm.
it's one of the ones.
Hello.
It's no getting here like mega rapidly, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
Time it
Cool.
has that
Nice
long
one.
boat tour. But
Nice.
other than that, it's been quite quiet. But then that's obviously part due to weather and stuff like that. It's not really been great for doing anything.
No, and
Yeah,
anyway, see when you get
right,
like
yeah.
a wee nice afternoon, you just know that the road's covered in salt. So
Aye,
you know what I mean. So you don't really want to be going out on the bike.
no. And then have to come
Um.
back. It's not so
Anyway,
much going out the bike, it's then coming back and having to gut it and clean it and do all the chain work and all that kind of
aye,
thing.
exactly, aye,
That's the
exactly.
downside. The
Cool.
what's the other thing I was going to say? There was something else, and then it just completely went out of my head. So it could have been that important, and we might come back to it. If I remember, it'll be
Cool.
later. I'll be like, oh, here, wait a minute. I've had an idea. Yeah. But yeah, but other than that, it's all gravy. We did take a wander at
Gravy.
we did take a wander into BMW, didn't we, for a wee nosy?
We
And we
did, yes.
which we need to follow up with
Aye,
the Catty boys, which we haven't done yet because obviously Andy wasn't in. So we'll follow up with the Catty guys and
pop back in, yeah, yeah, make a wee weekend
to see
trip
them,
up there. So
especially now that they'll get a Diavol in the V4.
yes, yeah. Well, maybe I know it's a. I do quite fancy the Diablo as well, but it's just again, I think it's just I just think it's out of my price range. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So
yes. Yes,
unfortunately,
it's just a bit, unless we win the lottery this weekend, obviously, in which case, one
well,
each.
there is that. There is that. Yeah, I
Aye,
must check my numbers on Sunday.
aye.
I hope. You know.
Unless you're dating it, unless
Mm,
you're obviously doing Euro Millions, in which case, check it later. Do you know what I mean? But
aye, totally.
other than that, being quite quiet, which is fine because it's going to get busy because we're getting into hopefully the longer nights, the good weather, all that kind of good stuff. And I think there's loads of stuff lined up this year. We different garages and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So we should have tons of stuff to keep us occupied, which is good. However, one of the things that has kept us occupied is the Scottish Bike Show.
It is a Scottish bike show. It was we decided kind of a bit last minute, really, wasn't it? We were
It was a
definitely
bit
going to
last
go.
minute.
It wasn't because we weren't sure if it was going to be how good an event or not it was. I know it's going to get a reputation being a bit poor, but
Aye,
then
and
when you
fairness,
look at
Tio pumped me up when I saw him this week in the office.
mhm,
He was like, "Oh, he might have told me who he is." I was like, "Listen, mate, it was last minute." We just kind of went, "Let's do it."
aye,
So,
aye, so yeah. But it was actually better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was all right. Yes, definitely missing a few big manufacturers, absolutely, or even a couple of dealerships that could have represented those manufacturers.
mm,
So, in fact, the only there was only a couple of manufacturers there, really, wasn't there?
aye,
Harley was there,
aye,
and Yamaha was there.
yes,
KTM was there, right?
Triumph.
Triumph was there, but Triumph was there with West Coast. Harley was there with West Coast.
No, Harley was there.
KTM.
Harley had
Harley
Harley.
was there on its own. West Coast was there as West Coast Customs. That's right.
Aye,
Yeah.
Royal Enfield was there.
Um, Royal Enfield was there, but was Royal Enfield was there as part of Saltire? Was it not?
No, I think that was them on their own. Saltire had
Was it?
Indian and
So
Mutt
and BSA and Mutt, yeah,
PSA.
the wee bit of BSA and Mutt, yeah. So the
Yeah.
guys at Resolve were brilliant. That was a great. I really liked their stand. Thought their stand was brilliant. I need to pop through and bought myself a nice pair of gloves.
You did?
Garibaldi, Tommy, Garibaldi.
I,
Tommy, soft Garibaldi on my fingers. That's what you're looking for, son. Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
that,
I've
that,
stuck my
that,
hand in
that,
a Garibaldi, and I'm a happy man.
that was
So that could
is
be the
what
name.
they're
That could be
called.
the name of my
Garibaldi.
autobiography. Yeah, we'll become famous with these podcasts, and that. And then 20 years time, there'll be my autobiography. I've stuck my hand in a Garibaldi, and I'm a happy man.
Aye.
The loves, the life's loves and losses of the average bikers.
Either that or it'll be my love of Crayola.
Well, there is the Crayola. No,
You'll
that'll be a chapter. Yeah,
that'll be a
the
chapter.
Crayola syndrome. Crayola syndrome. Yeah, absolutely.
The Crayola days. Um,
Yes. No, I thought it was really good. For a small show, it was a small show. Um, a lot of nice custom bikes, a lot of kind of clubs and things represented. So there was lots of cool kind of individual stuff brought in and shown around, which I thought was lovely. Some cracking custom paint jobs and all that kind of
cracking
stuff.
old bikes and stuff there as well.
Aye,
I
a
feel
few.
like
I mean, there's some really
20s
old
and
belts, wasn't there?
there's some stonking bikes. Um, but then obviously there was the kind of latest stuff there as well. Do you know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
Harley Davidson had a 120 anniversary Fat
they
Boy there.
had a fat boy. That was,
And
and I have to say, I mean, it's still too much money to spend on a paint job, but it was a lovely paint
oh,
job.
it's
It
again
looked
pictures.
stunning.
When we saw it,
Right.
obviously, you mean check out Goggle Bikers, but when we saw it, we were like, "Oh, that's quite nice. We quite like that." But see, when you see it in
Mm.
the flesh, it's like it's really rich,
Aye,
really rich. And I
it's
don't mean
it's
sheen,
it's
I mean color wise.
no, the colours, the kind of the sparkle to it, the depth, the quality of the paintwork, and everything is actually absolutely
Really
excellent. Yeah,
nice.
absolutely, and I can see why it would if you had if you had a lot of bikes and you need the money to buy it, right? So you couldn't buy it and leave it out on the road. You'd have to have the right setup. You'd have to have a nice dry garage and all these kind of things, and look after it, and a butler to polish it, all that kind of stuff, right?
Aye,
You need people to do that for you. You need to get the help in for that. But yeah, if I had all that, I'd be tempted to get one of those bikes in that paintwork. If I had spare money to throw away, you know. But
aye.
to add 6 grand to a bike just for the paint jobs a bit.
The only
Yeah.
thing that is annoying me is I looked at it and went, "Oh my god, that's really really nice." I'm not a big fan of the Fat Boy, right? But then it just made me
I
go,
like the Fat Boy actually. I was debating a Fat Boy.
"Sorry." The only thing it made me think of then was how nice is the CVO going to be? Because I think the paint job with
Aye,
the CVO is much nicer. And if it's that rich
yeah, yeah.
in the CVO, it's going to be thingy. But I don't think you'll ever
We'll,
see
we'll
one.
wait. I was going to say we will never see one. I don't even unless we go to Milwaukee, and
Milwaukee.
even then they might Milwaukee.
They'll have one.
Unless
They'll
they
have
had
one
one.
on show. Milwaukee
I suppose
in
Milwaukee.
June or July.
Yes,
I
so
think
Scottish
it is.
Bike Show was quite good. Yeah, didn't really watch any of the events, so did we? There was some stunt show things, wasn't there? But
Yeah, the stunt.
the rain was
The
on and
thing.
stuff, so
Aye. And
it was
plus,
absolutely Baltic.
it was on at certain times where we kind of were doing other things. Do you know what I mean? Or
Well,
hang
it was
about.
on at 1:30, and unfortunately, we had something else to go to see, watch, and experience at 1:30.
What was that? I can't quite remember. What was that?
That was a very special unveiling of a very special custom motorcycle from West Coast Triumph. So West Coast Customs, which people probably associate with um,
Pimp My Ride.
Harleys, of course.
I
Yeah,
thought
Pimp
you
My
meant that
Ride.
TV show.
Actually, right, yeah, but the West Coast guys at West Coast Triumph through with them were commissioned by a certain famous Scottish actor currently called Mr. Sam Hewen of Outlander fame. Yeah, close personal friend of mine, close personal friend. Sam and I were like that,
Friend of the
problems and
show. Friend of
gloves.
the show.
And yeah, a friend of the show. He's a friend of the show. He regularly listens in. I don't know if he does or not, to be
I
fair.
don't know.
But we're very very good friends with his nephew. And when I say his nephew, not his real nephew, his nephew on the show,
Aye.
Mr. John Bell, who's going to come on hopefully soon. The chit chat. But Sam was unveiling his commissioned from West Coast. He's got a couple of triumphs. It's good try. I think he's got a couple of triumphs in a Harley or something like that from West Coast.
Mhm.
And but he'd commissioned them to take a scrambler, the Scrambler 1200, and pimp that bad boy up to represent his Sassenach whiskey. Yeah, and boy, did they do a belter of a job on it, didn't they?
Oh, I mean,
Absolutely. I mean,
it's stunning.
yeah,
But
uh,
stunning, stunning. I think is an understatement. Do you know what I mean? It's just
yeah.
attention to detail on that bike. There's loads of because we stood for ages looking at that bike. You know what I mean?
And you
Um,
still found something new,
and you did. It
you
was
know.
little, and it's just it was little things, little hints of gold. Or would you call it? And you know what I mean? And obviously, if you mean anyone,
Unicorns here, you know.
eh?
Give me your top three favorite details on the bike. And we put some of the pictures up on the socials, right?
Aye,
And of course, the socials are covered. Sam's socials are all covered in it and everything. There's a fantastic picture of Sam standing there with his arms wide open that he's used in his socials. It's my
that,
picture.
that
I'm just telling you now,
that
everybody. I
everybody.
took that picture. I took that picture. I sent that picture to John. John sent that picture to Sam all over the internet.
Aye,
I
exactly.
have technically gone viral without knowing about it. There you go.
Aye.
Felt like
Or,
COVID.
aye,
So, you know,
or any kind of or any kind of recompense for it either. The
absolutely.
the,
But
the
we're going to use that as leverage to get him on the show. So it's fine.
aye, absolutely. The little hidden compartment. So the backrest had a
Yeah.
you actually could pop it up. It was on a little hinge, and inside
Yep.
yeah, all lined. It was lined with felt, and inside there was two
Yeah.
little tiny shot glass things for having a wee dram. And on the bottom was a magnet, but the magnet was covered in felt, so that you could stick it on the
Yep.
tank and it wouldn't scratch the tank.
Scratch the thing.
That's number one,
And you said it was all lined. Yeah. And you said it was all lined with felt. And this is the level of attention to detail. The felt had a pattern on it of a unicorn,
which
which
was
is the symbol for his Sassenach whiskey. So it's
exactly
not just lined with felt, it's lined with custom felt with that unicorn
with his logo on it, which is
on it.
just,
You know,
I
I
mean,
think that was brilliant. Yeah. The fact that they'd taken each individual spoke out of the wheels and painted them gold.
aye, well,
You know,
dipped.
that's not a quick dipped gold. Yep, dipped. Uh, and then one of my favourite things was they took the Triumph badge and turned it into a Scottish flag instead of the
Aye,
and put that on the front
aye,
fender.
that was quite cool. But obviously the lights as well. When you turned the lights on, it
Yeah.
projected his logo
Oh,
onto the grun, which
yeah,
is quite
yeah.
cool.
So you'll probably see it in a lot of high end cars, Mercedes and 80s. When you open the door, they project onto the pavement. The Mustang that I hired when I was in LA a few years ago, 2015 or something, did that, and I was like, first time I drove it into the car park, didn't know it did it because I'd picked it up during the daylight. Turned, opened the door, and there's this Mustang just shining up the sidewalk, shining up on the sidewalk. And I was like, oh my God, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen, right? And they've got that on the bike, and it's the Sassenach
Aye,
whiskey
it's
unicorn.
very, very, very cool. But there was
The wee
loads of
hip flask at the front, the wee hip flask at the
hip
front, it's
flask,
cool.
hip flask compartment. Jesus wept. Do you know what I mean? The paint job. You know what I mean? The fact that
Mm.
his logo was in the paint job and all that kind of stuff
Yeah, yeah. And
was.
black and yellow, of course. So, a color scheme, it's very close to my heart.
Do you know one other thing that I really liked about it, which I mean, it seems so small and trivial, but actually really just set it off. The actual display on the scrambler, as everybody knows, it's a kind of
Hmm.
square, but it looks like three sections with a circle in the middle. The actual circle in the
Yeah,
middle had would you call it
gold.
a gold ring around it,
Hmm.
almost like you would get, see, like you've got if you've got a quad lock, your quad lock phone
Aye,
has got you
yeah,
can buy the inserts. It had that gold kind of goldy yellowy
yeah.
insert. It
If you haven't
just
had a chance
like
to see it, Google it. Google for the images. Get a good look at a lot of Triumph's feed, Sam's feed, and all that on Instagram and all that
yep.
stuff, and just have a good look at this beautiful, beautiful machine. And they're entering it in a big competition for customizations. So,
I had a big
hopefully we'll see
uh,
some more news on that when we find out how
it's,
that goes,
it's
which is
got
pretty
to
cool.
win. It's just absolutely filthy. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely
I
filthy.
know, I know.
But then we had a wee quick
But
chat.
it's class. It's quite classy. So
Oh,
the wee quick chat with Sam, told him how much we loved his bike. Yeah,
aye.
nice guy.
And you know, I mean, I was trying to talk him into making a Blanco tequila because he does tequila too, which he's like in total agreement with me because he loves a Blanco. And he's like, yeah, we really should, but I think they're doing gin next. and then we'll see.
Yeah, big. They're concentrating on their gins apparently.
Uh,
There we go.
but he's a
Sassenach gin. There we
top
go.
bloke, good chat.
Lovely man, isn't he? Love a good chat.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
really
nice.
fun.
And you got your wee photo taken with him, didn't you, Bless?
Sure did,
Yes.
as everybody else
You
was.
did. You and Nicola went pure fanboy, fangirl.
Oh,
So,
totally.
although
And
let's be honest, you didn't really do it to get a picture with you and him. You did it to wind up Sid. So,
our social media manager,
exactly.
Steve
You
again,
know,
poke a bear with a
not
stick.
cool.
Hello, I've got it.
Yeah.
Look, I was touching and knowing that way.
Talking about customization.
Ugh.
Yeah, talking about customization.
Oh, this is your new glasses,
Oakley Customs.
which obviously you never got.
Mm.
You never got these at the show, but yes.
Never get these at a show, but we're just talking about customization. So, looking at colours
Oh yeah, let's look at that. Hmm,
and
black
then
and yellow.
engraved
Very
into the
nice.
lens. I don't know how you can see that. If you can see it, if it'll
Look,
work.
look, Average Bikers logo engraved on the glass. Well, it's not a logo. It's
There
just
you go. So, just a name, but still pretty cool in it. So,
that's pretty cool.
they'll be getting pumped on. They'll be getting pumped on at my ocular region.
Pumped on,
When I'm next time out on the bike.
pumped on, pumped on. You
Pumped
say
on. Aye. Pumped on. Aye. If you
the
can't pump on your
only.
customs, what can you do?
I think the only criticism I had to the bike show this time, not well, one was the fact that it cost you 20 quid if you paid in the door and yet 15 if you pre-ordered it, which seemed a bit. It's like
Aye.
25% markup, really. Um,
Hmm.
but the only other thing was it didn't seem to have a lot of kind of vendors there, not manufacturers and stuff like that in showrooms or dealerships, but vendors. There wasn't a great selection of. Do you know what I mean? I think the last time I was there, which was I think the year of COVID,
Yeah.
right? Because it happened literally just before lockdown. Like Helmet City and and all that kind of stuff was there, but there was none of that. The road skin guys were there. Were
Those
there.
kind, it was a very small. It was quite a small stall they'd taken out.
Aye,
There wasn't.
kind
There
of
was a few.
mobbed.
There was a few things. There was a few helmet places and all that, but it wasn't anything huge. There wasn't any massive
No, there wasn't
or
like
any
sports
a
bike
big range
stall
of stuff.
or thingy. Or, I mean, there wasn't any
No,
of that.
I think the
Shame.
biggest stall for vendors was Fudge
Aye, and that's no like a
in
helmet
terms
or
of floor
something.
space.
That was actual
No,
genuine fudge made for sugar.
genuine flavored fudge and candy chew things.
No, none of which we bought.
That took up more room than any one individual shop, I think. So,
Well, the thing was,
yeah.
is I'd went up there. Obviously, we were up there to do the, I mean, have our nosy and take photos and stuff like that. I didn't realize Sam was going to be there. I didn't realize the unveiling was there until we got there and you told me. But I'd purposely up there thinking I'm going to buy a helmet. Because I think the last time I went up there, I bought the old Rafa
Captain
Captain
America.
America helmet, and I thought I'm going to buy a helmet because I have been looking because I don't want my Arrow Commander's fine if I'm out and being whatever, but it's not a helmet. It's not a comfortable helmet to go on, off, on, off, on, off. If you're driving
Aye.
open, driving open, and I'm thinking, obviously, going away in this tour, I want something that if we're pulling out for a quick 40, you just want to be able to pop the lid up, so like a modular. But I still
Yep.
want it to be kind of adventurous, so I'm in the market for that kind of style. Now I get it's going to be heavier than my Arrow Commander, but it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I had I kind of thinking, right, I'll go Scorpion ADX2 because it's, I mean, it gets
Mm-hmm.
write ups and stuff, doesn't break the bank, etc. Can't afford like a Klim, you know what I mean, the Klim Pro
Aye.
thing, but
Money. So
aye, it's
yeah,
just mental money. It's like 640 quid that I'm not paying that. So I had
yeah.
heart second up there. There was not one of those little stalls selling Scorpion helmets. It was like Shoei, LS2s, MX. There was some Nolans, and I think I saw a couple of Bells, and that was about it. Oh, and
Yeah.
Arrow, the
Aye.
Arrow. There's a wee stall there selling Arrow helmets, but you're like, aye, that was the only criticism I had was that. Do you know what I mean? And the beef burger was lukewarm. Do you know what I mean?
The beef burger was I basically when you say lukewarm, it was freezing. It just looked warm.
It's
You know.
that looks toasty. No, it's no.
Yeah, it was a bit of a it was a bit rubbish to be fair. But then that those
that you get,
those
you
things
know,
are
you're
like
going to
that.
get that. I mean, you're going to get that if you go to any of these shows.
Aye.
It doesn't really matter. So if anything was kept,
Put it one way, I ate it and I wasn't on the toilet for hours the next day, so it was all right.
there's a
You know what I
win.
mean?
Aye, so it's a
You
win.
know, it's a
The,
win. It's a win that it was only disappointing going in and it didn't cause any stress coming out. So all
hey,
good. Hey.
the
So
aye, it's I don't know if they just charge too much and people don't want to go, or they just don't expect the footfall, and therefore people don't go. Because I thought the Catty might
yeah,
have been there. I thought Kawasaki might have been there because obviously Kirkcaldy Kawasaki is literally just out of the bridge.
yeah.
Um, but
Suzuki Cooper. Motorcycles. I thought it meant something like that.
I thought
Suzuki or
Salt
something.
Tires was doing
Yeah.
Suzuki's. I thought they did Suzuki's, but I never saw them. So I don't know if they stopped doing them.
No,
They used to, but aye, it's one of those ones.
I don't think they do now. To be fair, I think when I was on their website earlier on, I didn't see Suzuki. So
And the other one that annoyed me was Harley Davidson in a Pan America with a decal moto kit on it, the black and
yeah,
orange
like
decal
yours.
moto kit. And I thought mine was special, but it turns out like there's tons of them floating about. So
You're a
maybe
trendsetter, fan. That's what it is. Yours was the first.
I don't know. Maybe
And to
one's
be fair, they put the decal. To be fair, they put it on. They put it on a black one. They didn't put it on an orange one.
no,
It didn't
no,
look as good.
no. See, theirs was the black and orange on a black bike. Mine's is orange and black
Aye,
on an orange bike. So that's
yes,
because they two kind of models of that. You can either have it
yes.
orange and black or black and orange. Um, so aye.
Didn't
So
look as good as yours. Yours is much better.
I might
Far, far sexier.
I might look at doing something else next.
Yeah, see you at the hairdryer. Getting these
Oh no,
stickers on.
actually, so my big cousin, I don't know if he listens to the show. He might listen to the show. He does a lot of stuff. He's got his own business and stuff like that. And he was spending a fortune, right, getting these cars and vans and buses and stuff like sign written.
Yep.
Obviously, a company logo on it. So he then decided, you know what, I could save myself a fortune. I'm just going to go on the course, tell them to wrap things, right? And then went and
How
bought
good would it be, right, if you do that course and every day they gave you a bag of M&Ms? How good would that be? So every morning you go in to learn how to rap with M&Ms. How good would that be?
I'm
Eh?
leaving.
Eh?
I'm leaving.
Eh?
If there was an
Eh?
anti rim shot button, you'd have got that anti rim shot button.
There we
Aye.
go. So,
So, but he was like, because I was talking to him, after we dropped you off, we nipped into Harley's and they were in, and
that's
he's
right.
like,
Yeah.
"He's, oh, I've got the machine. You can actually, I can print out like logos and all that kind of stuff for the bike. Do you know what I mean? And put them on because that's what I'm doing the sign writing. So if you need anything done, come give me a shout." And I'm like, "Hello, that
Hmm.
might be something worth investigating." Because then I can
Yes.
make something custom that's custom to moi and no every other
Now
bucket.
that's your dinner. Now you're talking.
Uh-huh. So we'll see. But yes, so that was the kind of motorbike show, wasn't it?
It was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good.
You got a
Very
set
good.
of Garibaldi gloves. That was the main
I got
thing.
my Gary Baldies and I got a wee Mutt Mongrels t-shirt because obviously we've had the
Oh,
Mutt Mongrel for a wee while, so I got the Mutt Mongrel t-shirt as well, just as a wee kind of souvenir because John will be getting rid of that bike very, 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 very soon as well. So,
whatever it is, because
so
he's on the cusp of greatness.
exactly. I've never seen a man with a bigger cusp. There you go. So,
How big's your cusp, by the way?
oh, I don't know, but it's
It's
full of
massive,
greatness. Full of
absolutely
greatness. There
massive.
we go. Aye, so there we go. That was a good wee check-in, wasn't it?
It was considering we covered off you mean the motorbike show, which was quite good.
Yep.
Um, and obviously we've got other stuff to talk about.
We do. We do. Go on then. What's next?
Now time for the news.
Time for the news. Yes. What's first then? What are we going first with?
Random eye checks.
We're not CF Moto, no.
Oh, I'm going to do random eye checks first.
You do it then. You get your goggles out.
I'm going to do random eye checks first, right?
Right.
Because
You do random eye checks first
I think
because you.
it's so random and weird
Yep.
that I had to call it out. So declining ice,
Aye, man. Aye.
declining eyesight can catch people out, and in a bid to raise awareness, Norfolk Police are offering people roadside eye tests to make sure their vision is up to scratch. Now, the tests themselves are voluntary, okay? When motorists ask to read standard number plate for 20 metres away, okay, which is the kind of default if you were taking your bike test or your car test, or whatever, that's the kind of distance. Tests are done in good lighting conditions, and the distance is measured accurately. I need to put my teeth in. I saw that drink this week.
It is, aye.
This is the kicker, right? So remember that, right? The tests are voluntary, right? You're asked, do you want to do the eye test? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. If the officer deems you are unsafe to be in the road, you could have your license removed.
So I think my answer to would you like to do the test would be no, you're all right, mate. Thanks so much. I will pop into the petitions.
Rocking up for that one. But here's the good news. It was launched on Monday, the 27th of February, and it ended on Sunday, the 12th. So that was Sunday gone, right? The activity ran in parallel with National Eye Week, right? Which I mean, it runs parallel with National Eye Week, but they run it for a fortnight.
Aye, so it's not really parallel,
Isn't it
is
really
it?
parallel? No.
It's parallel with a bit of rapper in.
Aye, exactly. Now, a decline in your eyesight can be difficult to recognise as it changes slowly over time, but visiting an optician at regular intervals can help pick up on vision loss that needs correcting, said Chief Inspector John Chapman. He also said your ability to see and monitor the road ahead of you has a direct impact on your ability to avoid collision. Now, if you feel fantastic because you can't see another vehicle coming towards you, then yeah, you shouldn't be on the road.
And what was his chap's name again? Was it Chief Inspector Obvious?
Chief Inspector.
Chief Inspector John Obvious said that if you can't see things, you might hit them. Oh, thanks. Cheers there, Chief Inspector Obvious. Thank you.
Chief Inspector Chapman. Norfolk Police and Crime Commissioner Giles Orpin Schmealy, I think that's right. If it's not, I apologise. Added, I'm very supportive of the constabulary's direct action to encourage people to use the road network safely. It's vital these checks take place to change people's behaviour, or by taking them off the road because they're blind. Totally agree.
Yep, I'm okay with that.
Along with the eyesight testing, the force will also be cracking down on the use of mobile phones at the wheel, which has been illegal since December 2003. Which
wow, 20 years nearly. Wow.
People still do it.
All the time.
Exactly. In order to do so, an increased number of patrols will be added, marked and unmarked cars, targeting people who are committing the offence. Again, how you need to do it, I will quite happily ride about my bike and find the crap out of people that do it. Because the amount you see when you're out the bike, it's loads.
Yeah.
And people caught using their mobile phones could face up to 6 points and a £200 fine. So if you've been driving for less than 2 years and you get 6 points, bye-bye now.
Cheerio, Mr. License.
It's down.
A week away.
But I just thought it was one of those ones, you know, when you're reading through the publications.
Yes,
something catches your eye. See what you just think, this can't be real. Turns out it's actually very real.
They should have gone to Specsavers initiative.
I know. It's the old Scottish referee project. Do you know what I mean? But there you go. So that was that. Random eye checks.
So the thing is, it's the kind of thing that you could then see if the statistics come back. If the statistics come back, I know you can't help these puns. If the statistics come back and it was relatively successful, you can see them other forces going, we'll get that wee shot. We'll get that wee shot.
We'll make some money here.
All right, we'll make some money and get some folk off the road and charge them for taking their car away and everything. There we go.
Well.
So watch this space. But make sure you can watch it from at least 20 meters. There we go.
Smash that button.
Double smash. Double smash. Can't be a double smash. Next, CF Moto. CF Moto have big plans for the UK in 2023, with ambitions to recruit up to 30 new dealers, supported by backing from Perrier Mobility, the Austrian conglomerate behind the success of KTM, Husqvarna, GasGas, and the WP suspension brand. It was announced in late October 2022 that KTM would take over distribution for Chinese firm CF Moto in the UK and Ireland from January 2023, with bosses now confirming that the plans for between 20 and 30 new standalone dealers this year, as well as more KTM powered production motorcycles on the way. Now, I'd really like the KT. The bikes are pretty tall, right? So, in
You can
order for me to try to get my leg over for the KTM's, right? But, it's not a brand you see a lot kicking about. So it'll be interesting to see CF Moto and all the KTM stuff and all that coming up and appearing more prevalently on the high street, for want of a better phrase.
and
It'll
remember
be
we looked at a CF Moto before Christmas. Was it just before Christmas?
yes.
Right before
Mm.
it wasn't that long ago, and I think both of us looked at it and went, "Oh, that's quite nice." Yes,
That's right. Huh?
it did look tall, but it was there a kind of adventure bike thing.
Yeah,
Looked quite
totally.
smart. So
Yeah. So they were founded. CF Motor were founded in 1989, and they employ around 4,800 people. In 2021, their global revenue eclipsed $1.2 billion, and in 2022, 127,000 new bikes were sold worldwide. So that's no a wee number.
no,
Despite CF Motor's growing business, they remain relatively small in the UK. Figures compiled by the Motorcycle Industry Association, the MCIA, in 2022 revealed CF Motor's best seller in the UK to be the £7,549 priced 700 CLX Sport Parallel Twin Cafe Racer.
it's a bit of a mouthful.
That it is a bit of a mouthful. A bit like that burger, but hopefully there's a wee bit more heat in this one, which netted just 21 registrations in the period. So their most successful bestseller in the UK, they only sold 21 of them. Is that what they're saying?
Aye,
That's really what they're saying, right?
that's exactly what I was saying.
So it is very, very small in the UK. In the future, though, all new bikes sold will come with a 4-year warranty, and spare parts will now be stored at Perrier headquarters in Mattighofen,
Yeah,
in Austria. Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
I think my pronunciation may be slightly out there, but it's fine.
Oh, it was bang on. It was like you were a native.
Yeah, I
That
was.
if you get a chance, look at that 700 CLX Sport. It's a nice looking bike, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just going to Google it just now while we're talking,
Mm.
just to remind what it's like. 700.
I should have put a picture up there of that.
I know.
And it also comes. It
It was
also has a hint of yellow on it, or or it actually looks more like Triumph Racing Yellow, if you know what I mean.
Triumph Racing Yellow,
Aye, green.
which is kind of green, basically.
Aye,
Yeah.
it's more green than yellow.
It belonged to me. And it's classed as a cafe racer, isn't it? Right.
Mhm.
So, but
Very nice.
it's got a cowl, yeah, at the back. Because I don't think there's that much about it that's cafe racer other than the wee cowley bit at the back. But it is
Well,
a funky looking wee thing, isn't it?
I know we digress. I know we're going completely off topic.
I know,
But
but still.
just going back to Sam Hume's bike, there's an
Aye.
interesting fact
Well,
with
that's
Sam
it.
Hume's
The
bike.
cowl. It's got a cowl.
It's got a cowl on the back, right? But the cowl is actually off an old XR Sportster, a Harley Davidson XR Sportster, which is
Yeah.
the kind of proper, racing type looking. It
Aye.
looked more like a naked bike. That version of Sportster was nice. But they took that and modified it to go into the back of a Triumph. Very clever. Anyway, sorry.
Yes. No, cool. No, very nice.
Carry on.
Yes, lovely. Yeah, it's a 693cc 2-cylinder inline 4-stroke liquid cooled double overhead cam engine.
Uh-huh.
Yep, and it has a seat height of 795 millimeters, which I would fit. Woo-hoo. There we
Yes.
go. So it's definitely worth a wee sit on when if we get a place near us to have a wee shot.
We had dealership.
Um, it's the latest step in a partnership that began back in 2013 with the Hangzhou firm which began importing KTMs to China. A joint venture to produce bikes was established in 2017, and going into 2023, the returning KTM 790 Adventure Range will be built in China, or as Donald Trump would say, China, China, China,
Yeah.
China.
China.
In China. Unfortunately, despite the decade-strong relationship, the CF Moto boss was quick to confirm that all warranty and servicing work will need to be taken care of at a brand-specific dealer rather than at a potentially closer KTM franchise. This is despite the larger 800 MT Adventure range featuring the 799cc parallel twin engine found in the 790 Adventure. Yeah.
That's the
So
one.
it will be a
That's the one we
CF
looked at.
Moto one. Yeah, that's the one we looked at. Yeah, $2 a week. This won't be the only time we see this engine included in the CF Moto either. I don't even want to. I don't even want to attempt to pronounce that word. WAACTHE. The Wachte. The Wachthe. Wachthe. The
Aye.
Washthe. The
That,
Wachte.
that's the CEO's surname.
Aye. So, with Wacky CEO confirming, we now have the NK 800, which will be launched in May, June, and this will be the next CF Moto product based on this 790 engine platform. This will be a naked roadster, first seen as the NKC 22 concept at the 2022 EICMA trade show in
Italian.
Milan,
Milan.
Italian, yep, and could sit as a direct rival to the likes of the Honda CB750 Hornet, the Suzuki GSX 8S, and of course, the old classic MT7 Yamaha. There we go. So CF Moto, apparently, the Chinese stuff starting to kind of creep in a bit more. We're seeing it a lot in electric cars and things as well. Now there's a few wee kind of electric dealership things popping up now. I noticed the big car dealership across from Harley, the big Peter Vardy. They've got an Aura or something like that, which is like kind of wee Chinese kind
Electric
of
thing. Aye.
electric thing in it. And MG's Chinese obviously now, so that there's quite a few. I think Arnold Clark are about to put in a kind of partnership with a Chinese electric company from as well. So yeah, so I think there's a lot more kind of modern stuff coming out. Yeah,
The,
and they're trying to
CF,
take over.
CF Moto's 800 NK literally looks like the love child of an MT-07 and a Hornet. I mean, if you just take those two bikes and smash them together,
Yeah,
that's what we come up with. That's what it looks like. Interesting.
yes, nice, cool. What have we got next? My favorite thing.
Oh, this is great. This is the.
Yeah,
Do you want to drag your soapbox out for the back?
maybe, possibly.
So,
Yes.
Cardo Pack Talk. Um, at the beginning of March, remember the 8th, I think it was, Cardo announced a new Pack Talk, which got me slightly excited for a very split second.
Yep.
Not that I'm unhappy with the bold, because that's what I've got at the minute. And I don't think there's no point in upgrading to the edge, because the difference is, difference in features and stuff is like minimal.
Aye.
And the battery life, no, that's the same, so it doesn't matter. But what Pack Talk have launched is Ian's favourite. They've launched the Pack Talk Custom. So essentially, it's a reduced base unit. Okay, it looks a bit like an Edge or a Neo. If you look it up, you'll see what I mean. Which
Yep.
by default has the basic features enabled, right? So you can connect it to the mesh and all that kind of stuff, right? However, if you want to add additional features to the unit, you have to pay a monthly or yearly subscription. So what'd you get for the basic? All right, let's look at the single
Let's
comms
go
unit.
basic. Let's go pure
Single
basic,
comms
man.
unit. 280 quid for the single comms unit, and this will get you that DMC connectivity, ability to pair it to your device, play music, get GPS, it's
Yep.
IP65 waterproof, auto volume, FM radio, basic functionality. All right.
Yep.
However, should you want additional features, here's what you're going to pay for, and here's what you're going to get. So for £2.90 a month or £19.90, well, and at first they put in dollars,
Yep.
okay, but they I haven't checked to see if they've changed that yet. So for
Yep.
$290 or $19.90 a year, you can activate the silver package, which then
Right.
gives you
£2.90 a month. What's the point? What is the point?
uh,
What's the point?
I know.
Anyway,
Well, you haven't heard the best yet. For that, you get music sharing, 3 audio profiles, and speed dial.
what's the point?
Hmm.
What's the effing point? Okay.
All right.
Right.
If you need more than that, you go for the gold package, which is $4.90 a month or $29.90 a year. And that gives you the music sharing, the 3 audio profiles, the speed dial, universal Bluetooth intercom, a Bluetooth bridge, and a second channel connection.
Right.
Right. And if that's not enough, you can opt for the platinum package. And
Which is all that shit. Right.
that's $6.90 a month, or
Mhm.
let's call it $40 a year.
Yep.
It's 10 cents off it, right? You get music sharing, the 3 audio profiles, the speed dial, the universal Bluetooth intercom, the Bluetooth bridge, the second channel connection, voice commands, and eco mode.
What is eco mode?
I have no idea what eco mode is, but it ain't worth $40 a month, I'll tell you that. So you think about it. You buy a brand new Pack Talk custom, 200, let's say 280 quid.
Yeah, yeah.
You you then want all the functionality. You then pay 40 quid a year. So that's you already up at 320 quid for the
Uh-huh.
first year, right? Let's say you get 2 years with it, right?
Yep.
That's you up at 360 quid. You be well just buying an edge. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Because it's about the same money. If not, it's probably actually
And
less.
it's got all that stuff anyway.
And it's got all that stuff enabled anyway. With the exception of probably eco mode. Who gives a shit?
What is eco mode?
I have no idea.
I want to know what that. I now want to know what eco mode is. If you're
But
listening,
to see if it's worth 40.
Cardo, if you're listening and you want us to test one out, give us one for a year with platinum on it, and we'll let you know if it's worth us money.
Aye.
If you're listening.
It's supposed to start shipping around the 3rd of April. But I'll not be rushing out to buy one. If that's going to be the
No,
subscription model going forward for the Pack Talks, I could see people moving very quickly. I think that's a bad idea.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You buy it, right? Like you buy it, and you can do that. You can listen to your own music, listen to your own phone, and everything.
Right.
So somebody like me, it's probably ideal, and it's still got a DMC, isn't it? So
Aye, but
you can still chat with each other using the
as long as
DMC
they've got
stuff, right?
cardos. Aye, as
As
long as
long as they
they've
get,
got cardos or
yeah, as long as they get cardos,
Pack
right?
Talks, right?
So
But
um,
let's say you and I were out and we went to connect up via Bluetooth, right? Because you've got your shortwave.
aye,
That wouldn't work.
hmm,
Because I would need to then go and pay a one-off monthly subscription of $4.90 for that month. For say one day we were going to run. Now,
aye, that's what I mean. That's a
now,
pain.
if that was the case, what I would suggest is you should just connect your phone, make a phone call, or create a wee bridge on WhatsApp or something,
Yeah, totally. Aye, yep.
and use and
And
use
as long as your phone's plugged into the bike battery, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Aye.
Aye, that's what I'd
Yeah.
suggest. I just don't see that as a. I'll be surprised if that lasts because I
I
can't
know
see
it.
that as a. I get the point, right? It'd be good if you only need, say, the gold package for a month because you're away for 2 or 3 weeks or a tour.
Yeah.
Switch it on for a month and then go away, right? But for the difference in price, just buy a fully fledged unit,
For age.
buy an edge. Ta-da!
Yeah, just by an
Buy
edge,
an
aye.
old packed up bold for someone. Still going to be better value than that.
I know. It's just a bit weird, isn't it? I mean, everything's going that. I know everything's going that way, right? I get that. I get that everything's going that way, and it just, as you know, it irritates me beyond belief that that's the kind of thing that
Oh,
happens. But you know, I suppose I've just got to accept that that's the way the world is going to be.
well, it
That
shouldn't.
is the way the world is going to be. You know.
Aye, I would say it shouldn't be. The world should have evolved. I mean,
This should not be
that's not
free. All this stuff should be free. This should just be given over to mankind and just say, mankind, it's free. You know, who was it now? Volvo, wasn't it? Volvo, way back in the day, invented the seatbelts and put the patent out free
everybody. Uh,
for everybody to use it. Thank you, Volvo. Clunk, clink every trip, right? Thanks to Volvo. Yeah. They gave that patent out so that everybody could be safe all the time. Thank you, Volvo. Volvo, don't make a motorbike though. Can you imagine a Volvo motorbike with a big box and wheels? Isn't it? Anyway, but
oh,
you know,
that's not a bad shout, by the way. In fact, there's probably a whole show there in terms of car manufacturers that don't make bikes that probably should make bikes.
yes, absolutely. Let's
That's
think about
probably a
that one.
whole show in
I
itself.
like that. Yes, I like
Do you know
that
what I mean?
indeed.
A whole show in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm,
that was
there
the
we go.
news. I'm not pressing the button again
No,
because
it's fine.
it's
Thank you. You're my listening to the news.
now caveat at this point. Anyone watching it on video, you're going to get a blip in the video, and that's because transition. That's because we are interviewing Richie Vida,
And Darren is very excited.
but not in the same night.
Not in the
So there
same
will
night.
be a blip in video. We may have changed clothes, we may have not. which would
I
just be
hope we have. I'm genuinely. There's a couple of days for never going to talk to him. I'm hoping you've changed
continuity.
clothes, son. Hoping you've changed clothes.
Continuity.
You know, out of my 200 baseball caps, I've got a funny feeling I may be wearing a different one. So,
Aye, absolutely. Although I'll still wear my. Would you quite can't see it for there? Look, my wild bad touring T-shirt.
oh, nice.
Because that's obviously Richie's
Cool.
other company. So yes, so there will be a blip.
Hello, I'm Ian and I'm Darren. Welcome to Average Backers. Oh, I like it. That's very nice.
I know.
That's cool. Next one.
August Mer Bra I don't know. It was some pub we were at fuck it when we went to a conference in Berlin.
Nice. Braumotion.
Aye.
Ja. Ich habe eine große Wurst. Ja. Oh, ich liebe meine kleinen Schnauzerwelpen. Ich liebe Jeff und Lydia, meine kleinen Schnauzerwelpen. Means I love Jeff and Lydia, my little Schnauzer puppies. Apparently, according to Google Translate. So if there's any Germans watching and I've said it completely wrong, please let us know.
I know very few. All I know is Krankenhaus.
Yes.
Krankenwagen. Just, you know, I mean, that's the only bit of German you know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I did know so. I was doing that Duolingo for a wee while in the hope that I would get to go to Germany, but that's not going to happen for a while. So
no,
you know.
Well,
but it may happen soon. And but if only I could get a bike with luggage. Do you know what I mean? If only.
Hang on, I'm going to start recording.
Right, go.
And then I'll set you up for a big fall.
Yay! Whee!
Hang on, can you hear it?
He's the man when to be
Kind of. It kind of cuts in and out. You know what I mean? It seems to not quite work across Zoom as well. But as long as
wait a minute. Hang on. Hold on, please.
Because tonight is the night when
I'm wondering if there's a setting in
when you touch my bum.
I'm wondering if there's a setting within Zoom that stops or suppresses that kind of shit. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know, my lover, me pretty, me anthem, me petal.
I'm thinking there might be a button there, mate.
Do you think there might be? Oh, as long as I know what button you're pressing, I'll be fine.
Does that change it?
It kind of cuts in and out, so I don't know if it's maybe just because there's other sound coming over the top. Do you know what I mean? So it's just.
Is
that better?
Oh, that was delicious.
What's that?
I almost had Emma, almost had Baby Spice in the room with me.
So I don't know if I'm
you can just give me a few minutes, I'm just going to go away and sort that out.
If I'm playing it and I'm talking, I think it might make this mic over the top of it, hence why it would cut in and out.
Yeah.
Or it might be just something to do with background noise suppression. So when I'm playing a sound, I'll try and speak just so you get the full.
Aye, I hear you. I hear you.
I'll
try not to speak as well, but that would be difficult.
Well, aye.
Right, so caveat, I do have a cough. So if I mute myself, it's because I'm coughing. Right, all right, so I might have to.
Let's include that in. I say check part two. It's not checking part two. It's like check in to the update. Here's why. Aye, okay.
So it's chicken time.
It's not really chicken time, right? Hang on, I've got to push record on this, right? And then we'll start, right? So, before we start, the big question, and if you're watching on the snippets, you may notice that we've had a clothes change. Now, we're not doing like a Rihanna concept where there's like 6 wardrobe change. It's because we've had a slight...
Although I currently am similar shape to Rihanna at a Super Bowl.
Well, yeah,
Super Bowl.
Rihanna!
Big belly belt. Wait.
We had to pause the recording, not for anything sinister, but obviously we were supposed to have the one and only Mr Vida on the show, and the plan was to record that part later.
Alright, later on. Doodle it.
Obviously, something came up with Richie, and he really does send his apologies. We will get him on at some point.
Yep.
Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll get that done. So it meant we've had to come back to this and fill in with what was going to be a kind of big question. But a week, that was like a week between.
It is, and a lot can happen in a week.
And a lot can happen in a week. I mean, a lot. Ian's developed a cough.
Yep, I have. Yep, I got a cough.
But Is there anything
There
else?
you go. I did that one unmuted. The rest of them
Just
I'll
to
mute
prove the point.
just to prove the point.
Is there anything else, Ian, that has happened this week? See where you're thinking about it. Let me play some music.
Is the night, is the night when two become one.
Anything?
Well, funnily enough, you've mentioned that music there, and Joe, I'll tell you what it is, right? So, for those of you that have been listening throughout the weeks, you may recognise my love of that song for a particular reason. So it is I did make a small purchase, on Saturday. Yeah, okay.
Luggage.
It's well, luggage, but and because of that, I also made a small purchase on Amazonian the world. So ready for this, folk? Drum roll. Have you got a drum roll there?
I don't,
You don't. Do you
I've
don't
got
have
a
a drum roll?
drum
Of course you
shot.
don't.
No drum roll.
A drum roll. So are you ready? I bought a portable lithium battery air compressor. That's what I bought. There you go.
Nice.
Yes, so that can go in the luggage. Oh, wait a minute. My Sportster and my Street Cup don't have luggage.
So
But
what did you buy luggage for?
well, as of tomorrow, I won't have a Sportster and I won't have a Street Cup. I'm saying goodbye.
A gasp noise.
Goodbye to my babies. And it's funny enough because I have bought a Triumph Speedmaster Chrome Edition. Woo! Very, very excited. Popped into Triumph on Saturday just to have a wee chat with the guys, just to say, look, I've got these bikes. What can you do for me? They ran a few numbers together. Susan was sitting beside me and we looked at each other. She gave me that nod of, well, I'm not going to stop you. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing,
Oofty,
bada
oofty.
boom.
Email
actually-
here, email there, electronically sign something here, electronically sign something there tomorrow, but I'll have picked it up by then, so there might even be some pics on the socials,
Oh,
but we won't put them up until after you've heard this.
yes, good.
Of my new motorcycle, the Chrome Edition Triumph Speedmaster, and I got panniers for it. Although I have now since watched a few reviews of the Triumph panniers, and I'm a bit kind of a lot of money for what they don't hold that much, but they hold more than nothing, so all good. Yep.
Okay.
So
That's
perfect.
the point. They hold
Uh-huh.
more than
So-
nothing. So bye Maverick.
Yep.
Bye Little Abigail.
Bye Maverick.
Which I was quite surprised at because I
Yep.
genuinely
Bye
thought
bye
that
Little
might
Abigail.
be like in the garage forever, just because of its sentimental value.
I know, and it was going to be in the garage forever, but it's another Triumph. Yeah.
Yes,
So and it's been endorsed by my son, and that's another bit of news. A lot can happen in a week.
a lot can happen in a week.
Yes. Yeah. John Bell of Outlander fame, and more famously for being my son, is past his mod 2. Woo! And he has a Triumph bobber. So we are now the Triumph twins.
Family.
Diddly-doo. Oh, brilliant! A Triumph. I'm going to get that made up into a song. Brilliant. So, and we're going to be. He's coming over with me, so we're going to head out tomorrow to pick up the Speedmaster. Oh, so excited!
And I might just
All week I've been sitting all week just
little
drilling at
smelly
pictures of it.
piece.
But yeah, and I've got a name for it. So,
See,
so I'm going to tell you then. So we had Abigail and we had Maverick. Yeah. So Abigail was based around the fact that I was in a play when I bought Abigail called Abigail's Party, right? Which is fine. That's why I called her Abigail.
Wow.
Maverick, because of Top Gun, danger zone, all that, right? Love it, right? Okay, absolutely perfect, thank you. But this bike is actually it's a kind of homage to John for passing his test. Now, it's based on one of John's most favourite films and books of all time. He loves this. He's even got a signed film poster signed by the author of the book, by the main stars of the film, and some of the crew, because he worked with them. So the bike is being called the Overlook. That's what it is. So it's called the Overlook. So for those that don't get the reference, I'm sure lots of you out there do get the reference. If you don't get the reference, the Overlook is the name of the hotel in
The Shining.
The Shining. And I thought, well, it's quite good because not only is it a homage, it's called the Overlook, but I'll be overlooking John's riding beside him.
Oh, that's
But the best thing is it's also a super pun because The Shining is the Overlook Hotel, so the Overlook is the shiny because it's the chrome version.
It's all chrome.
So
That's quite clear. I'll
So
give
it's
you
the
that. That's
shiny.
very, very good. That is very good.
There you go. So
You know what I mean? It's
thank you, thank you.
the
So
oval.
there we go. So I've renamed my AirTag, my Apple AirTag, to go inside it. It is now called the Overlook. There you go. There you go. Because
God,
all work
you
and
had
no
way too
play
much time
makes
this week.
Ian a dull boy. Do you know what I mean? So there we go.
I haven't named my bike at all, and I've had it
No.
over a year now, and I haven't named my bike. That's tragic.
That's
It's me
is it tragic or is it more tragic that I name every single one I get?
Yeah,
I mean?
I don't know.
So
Aye, I don't know.
yeah. I didn't tell Triumph that there's 2 Batman stickers on my bike, so hopefully they can remove them without too much hassle.
Okay, some WD-40 and it'll come off.
It'll be fine. I'll rattle off. So there we go. So that's it. Big news. I can triple check in.
A lot in a week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It's almost like the show part 2 when actually just listen to check in and the news and we've had a little mid check in because so much has happened. But there you go. You learn something new. And
Nice one. Yep.
this lets us obviously carry on to what we're actually here for.
Yeah, which is
Question.
oh yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this week our question is
What am I doing it or you doing it?
oh, I don't know. I was a point of you. I'd started. I thought a point of you, and then we got what the radio DJ called dead air.
Dead air.
Dead air.
Which
Yes.
You'll not hear the dead air because I'll cut it out.
He'll cut it out. So the big question is, and you're going to say it. The big question is,
do I need a roadie to tour or can I pack myself?
ooh, so yep. So as we said earlier on, slight change of plan this week. We were planning at the beginning of you were at Cheetah, obviously. Stuff came up, as you know, and we'll bring you more of that very, very soon. But in honour of Mr. V, and with your chicken strips tour coming up,
Yes.
we thought, well, let's talk about taking the bikes on tour. And obviously, it also works in really well because we decided on this before the Overlook happened. We decided that, and now I've got my panniers coming. I'm going to get a luggage rack fitted as well, so that I can stick some more stuff on it, and it's not affecting, and I can still take a pillion and all that. So, so all cool, all good. So we're going to look at touring equipment this way. You don't miss anything out of your top box, and maybe there's one or two wee little nuggets for the rest of us.
Yeah, and then that way, if anybody out there listening thinks we missed something, let me know, and I can always get it added into my little goodie bag.
Yeah, cool.
Goodie
So we're
top.
going to absolutely. We're going to base this for a tour in the UK, but we'll call out some other things. Think about if you are over the water, if you're abroad, even if you are
Topical that.
a wee. If you are driving through France, don't forget your riot shield. So yeah. Do we have any friends? Did we ever get downloaded in France? Not anymore.
Aye. How many
Not
French listeners
anymore.
do we have? Nil point.
I said 2 years less retirement riding they'll get if they don't get their way.
I know. Yeah, we just take it. Do you know what I mean?
We just go,
oh, 68. Superb. Thanks for that. They're like that. What? 2 more years? Wow. I need to retire when I'm 64.
62?
We'll burn the houses down.
To be fair, I think the rights are more about. I know we're not political, but I think the rights are more about that they're forcing it through no matter what. Anyway, it's more about the undemocratic process than anything else.
Yes. Anyway,
we've got 5 categories to look at, Darren. What categories do we have? Do it in your best Jim Bone bully voice.
Everyone, forget those family days. Have a super soda stream. No, 5 categories. We have bike, rider, capture, emergency, and miscellaneous.
Sounds like can I tick this for an abduction, doesn't it? I mean,
it does, doesn't it?
That's what I'm
I'm sure on here there is rope, cable ties, and gaffer tape. Anyway, let's move on. First up, let's sort out the steed or the overlook, which will start randomly. Obviously, depending when you tour will depend on prepping the bike. But if your bike's due a service or an MOT, obviously get that done. That way you know the bike's in good health for when you actually go off.
So that's happened to me a couple of times. I've been due to go on a few runs, and it's been due at service whilst I've been away, and I thought, you know what, just get it done now. Just maybe a couple 100 miles or 100 miles before you would want to get it done, but get it done.
But just get it
before
done.
you go. Just that way. Peace of mind,
I know. I'm gonna I'm going to book mine in for it's 320 checkpoint for hog members. So I'm going to check
Nice.
mine in and get it all checked.
Nice one. Yeah. And trying for doing a complimentary season check as well for
There
people.
you go. See, dead easy.
It's very, very cool one. I'm sure other places are doing the same.
Probably. I would think so,
Yeah.
given it's that start of the season.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, general health check on your bike before you go anywhere, really.
Aye.
But especially if you're on tour, is always advised. So we'll use the powders approach, which I know we've talked about before when we talked about roadcraft and advanced riding and
Yeah.
stuff. This is a good safety. This is a good one to get in
Yeah.
the habit of doing anyway. So P's for petrol, visual check. You mean if you need to, the bike's been sitting a while, do a test on the fuel and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure. Especially
Yeah.
for a bit. But check the petrol, oil, O's for oil, dipstick, sight glass check again. Make sure that it's secure. There's no leaks. It's clear. Also do the same for your fuel and clutch. Make sure the water's. Make sure that
anything slippy and viscous. Oil covers anything slippy and viscous, really, doesn't it?
Viscous. Viscous is good.
Something with a higher than normal viscosity.
Scotch trip. Brake and clutch fluid, you also want to check there's no water or any bubbles in it as well.
Yeah.
Which is handy. And also when you're doing that check on oil, check your reservoir and your hoses and any connectors and make sure they're all tight and hunky dory.
Aye. Absolutely.
W's for water. Obviously, check your water or coolant antifreeze levels.
Aye, check your water. Go to the loo before you set off. Check your water. Hey.
Also, while you're there, check your radiator cover, check the hoses, make sure there's no damage and stuff like that on there. Which brings us on to damage.
Yes.
Obviously, inspect your bike fully, and for any damage that you didn't know about or wasn't there before, that could potentially cause you issues later. So, you know, like a cracked pannier rack would be a prime example, maybe a cracked headlight or something like that.
Just we daft things that you've maybe not noticed happening as you've been out and about, or it's been sitting there.
That I mean,
your other half's gone in and dropped something in the bike in the garage and no told you, that kind of thing.
That sounds like a story there. Sounds like you.
No. It's not actually, to be fair, but especially Wayne's. I would say what's more likely to be Wayne's. And it, you know what I mean? They decided 2 weeks before the season that they want to get their scooter out. And nothing stopped them, and they've just jumped into the garage and rattled that against your big plastic cowl. Nobody wants their big plastic cowl rattled. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely not. D also covers drive. So this is your chain. Check your tension on your chain. Check it's well lubricated. Also check any kind of visual imperfections. Sprockets, make sure there's no hooked or missing teeth. If you have a
Sorry, I just seen the next one coming up. Sorry.
If you don't, I'll pause so that you can get that straight across them, right? If you don't drive with a chain, then you're either driving belt, so obviously check the belt, you know what I mean, for damage, tension. And if you're a BMW or a Tiger rider and you've got a shaft, carry on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thank you.
Check you get nail check the gaiters in place and it's not damaged as well.
There we go.
Next up.
Always check your chain.
See your shaft.
I was keeping the audience here with anticipation. Make that gap as long as you want. That's what she said. So, we've done the drive. What's next? Some bright spark told us about this. What's next?
Electronics. I'm acknowledging that bad dad.
Verify operation. Yes. No, it was terrible, wasn't it? Verify operation of your electronic systems. Your lights, main, beam, and dipped. Your brake lights on both brakes. Your indicators and your hazards. Spotlights, if you've got them fitted. You've got spotlights, haven't you? Your tiny wee bike that you've got, yeah.
Right.
Always check your number plate light. You can get pulled over for not having a number plate light, even on a motorbike. Dashboard lights or your screen, if you've got one of those fancy bikes that light up in the dashboard and the screen.
Which you don't have now.
Which I'll have, yeah, exactly. We've both got them. And then if you always make sure that after you've checked your shaft that you've got the horn, right? Thank you. Working, obviously. That's another, if you're pulled over, if you cannot show off your horn to the appropriate authorities, you can be in big trouble. So make sure that you show off your horn whenever asked. Okay, especially when you're touring in Europe. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, aye,
This is
definitely.
like an episode of Eurotrash for the 90s. Remember that?
Aye.
So
Unfortunately,
so,
yes, I do.
if you have them, get your heated grips working because you'll benefit from that, especially at the start of the season. Your screen, if it's electronic, and any auxiliary sockets if fitted. Yep. So anything you plug
Aye.
anything into, especially if you get your jackets and your phone and all that stuff plugged into, check your aux sockets.
I know, actually, there's a point. I'll need to check for plugging in because I've got a little auxiliary socket, but it's only USB-C. Which initially, when the pan was released, it was only for diagnostics. But then with the last couple of updates, they've changed it to be a power port as well, which is handy because it's like right next to the
Nice.
dash. So I need
Yeah.
to actually take out a cable and check that it's working properly.
To be fair, I don't actually know what the Speedmaster's got in terms of power sockets. I think it's got a power socket, to be fair, but what that is, I don't know.
Oh, there you go. That's
So just if I was going to,
something for visual inspection.
if I was going to, yeah, I was going to. I'll ask Ed when I pick it up. But it would be quite good to get the quad lock charger thing. If you're going long distances, you know what I mean.
Why the
So,
wireless one?
the mag ring thing. That one's,
Aye.
you know, just plugs in. That'd be good.
Good shout. Right, after you've checked your shaft and
Yep.
your horn,
Yep.
what's next?
You are going to. If anyone says that biking is not a misogynistic activity, right? Do you know what I mean? Then next up, we've got your rubber. You've got to check your rubber, right? Okay. Your rubber has to be impenetrable.
Forget
That's a rule of life.
Forget your
You know what I
50
mean?
degree, get yourself a copy of the road.
And the motorcycle roadcraft, exactly. That's what you want. So rubber, it doesn't just cover the wheels. I certainly hope not. If it just covers the wheels, then you'll be shooting in the dark there. But let's start there. Let's start with your wheels. Are the wheels moving freely? Look at the tyres. Is the tread okay? No cuts, tears, or bulges? Do the valves look okay? And if are they the right pressure based on the tyre and manufacturers? You spat all that out there, didn't you? Tyres manufacturers specifications. You can get your, obviously a quick Google search will get you the PSI or the whatever you need for your, you know what I mean, for your bike. So,
do you know something I do? See when I get a bike, I get the page out, I get the book out. You know what I mean? It's not a done thing, right? But I get the book out for two things. One, I'll check if there's any. See if I can't see, obviously, the oil light, the oil window or whatever. I'll check where it is. Especially BMW. BMW on the RT, it was really difficult to find. It was weird. But I'll also take a picture of the tyre settings.
So I do, yeah. Fair enough. I do the same thing. And you need it with a Harley Davidson because they're susceptible to losing bloody pressure. Those tires,
again, touch wood. This one's been all right, but
that's umpteen times I've had to readjust the pressure in that Sportster.
I know. I think that's.
I've only done about 1,500 miles on it.
I think that's a design feature though, because my original Sportster was the same.
So but it's one of these things that that meant I didn't really shed a tear when I'm handing back the Sportster. Shed a tear when I'm handing back Abigail, but not really shedding a tear. If anything, I'm slightly relieved.
That's why I'm coming down.
Don't get me wrong, amazing bike to ride, great fun to ride, absolutely. But just a couple of things that I'll not miss. Anyway, yes. So your tyres, the right tyre for the roads you will be riding, and the predicted weather conditions. Your handlebar grips, are they secure? Does your throttle twist and release? That's what she said. And then your foot pegs, are they suitable for both you and if you've got a crazy MF in the back, then go for it. Do you know what I mean? And maybe not a crazy MF, maybe more a crazy MIL, mother-in-law. No, I didn't put an F at the end of it. Bless my mother-in-law, who, as you'll have heard from the earlier check-in, had a ride in the back of the Sportster, so that was cool. And now she's up for a shot in the back of the Overlook, so all good.
The Overlook does have this back seat on it looks so comfy.
It's nice, isn't it? Nice big comfy pad. And I'm going to get the backrest for it and get that fitted. Well, I'll fit it myself. It'll be easy to fit. It's only 4 bolts. And then that way it'll be nice and comfy. And I even said to Susan, would you be up for going in the back? And she didn't say no. I mean, she didn't say yes, but she didn't say no. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. There we go. So there you go. That's your rubber. That was it. Yeah.
Rubber.
We've checked our rubber. What's after your rubber? You want to grip the road, but what happens if you hit a corner on the road?
You need to steer.
That's it. That's it. You need to
Good at
steer.
this biking thing.
Aye, that's it. Good. Get that roadcraft book open. You see, what happens when you hit a corner? I've got to steer. So there you go.
Technically, you
So
lead,
steering.
but
Yeah. Tell us about your steering.
what about what for the book or for what I know?
No, just for your notes. Your notes are fine. The notes will be
Right.
good. The notes
Um,
work for me.
check your bearings. Are they free to move lock to lock? So it can go both ways. Is your bearing is your bar centering properly, which is obviously what you want, because obviously when the bike naturally wants to sit upright and point in a straight line. So happy days. No obstructions due to cameras, phone mounts, and tank bags. And I put that up there because it's taken me ages to get the right configuration on my bike where everything's out the road
Aye.
and they can put a
You know,
tank bag on it.
I can assure you, I will never have a problem with a tank bag because there ain't anything touching that tank.
No touching that chrome tank. No, just no.
Ceramic coated, to be fair.
Aye, but still no. You like to be able to look here and see your face in it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Especially if you've been eating like a Garibaldi biscuit. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you got that out your teeth when you're smiling.
Exactly. Especially with a beard like mine, you want to make sure that all the crumbs have gone.
Aye, and there's no low hanging midges in there.
Exactly.
Also, check for trapped cables and any auxiliary cables. So obviously, when you're running phones and all that kind of stuff, just make sure none of that's getting tangled on a little brake line clip or something like that. That's then going to pop it out or pull your phone off or whatever. So be careful on that front. So that's one of the S's and powders. There's another S in powders, Ian, isn't there?
There is another S in powders, and it's just hanging there at the end. It's just hanging there at the end, and that is suspension. Eh? See, that was worth a rim shot, surely, no? Thank you. Yes, suspension. Make sure that's
for a rim shot. Do you know what
I know. It's suspension. Make sure it's set for the weight, manual or electronically. So manual or electronically to compensate for luggage and maybe a pillion passenger. Inspect your springs and your forks for any damage and leaks, etc. The only and that's to give you your last thing. So get a right good bounce. You know what I mean? You know you've checked your rubbers okay. You've checked you've got the horn. You've checked your shaft. Yep. Now get a right good bounce.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. So your bike is good to go. Yeah, but what do you need to do to pack to look after the bike while you're on your trip? Now, you cannot carry everything, you know. I mean, that Pan America can carry a whole load with these boxes and things that you've got attached to it, you know what I mean? Kitchen sinks and all that kind of stuff. But you can't carry everything, you know what I mean? So, with you, so do you need a roadie and a transit van in tow? Or can we get down to the bare essentials? Look for the bare essentials, biking bare essentials. We'll go for that, eh? So, what are your bare essentials? Well, tools. Some certain tools to do wee minor tweaks and fiddles. Yeah.
Yep. Totally agree.
Allen keys specific for your bike. You know, hex or Torx. We kind of cross ones, isn't it? Like the kind of 6 cross ones. Screwdrivers, ideally one with an interchangeable head that cuts down and stuff. Yep. Or a wee packer kind of head things like that. Couple of wrenches probably.
Head things.
Yeah, we got head things. Exactly. That's the technical term for them. Couple of wrenches, ideally adjustable, or carry one and a couple of spanners that cover all the important nuts for your bike. So there you go. We've done a rubber, a shaft, or horn. Now we're checking our nuts. We're making sure our nuts are secured. Thank you. So, yeah, carry all that.
That's one of those ones. If you know your bike well enough, you will know whether you need a 10 mil, a 12 mil, a 13 mil, and a 15 mil, or whether
exactly.
You know what I mean, so it's probably worth going around your own bike and going right. What could possibly need tightened, and you know what I mean, you probably find there's maybe 3 or 4 sizes, which if they're close to one another, you can obviously get on 2 spanners. So.
Aye. Now, to be fair, right, there is also the option, if there's a few things that go a wee bit loose, you want to tighten up, is the pound shop theory. If you're out touring and there's a pound shop, they're going to have something in there you can use for a pound. Do you know what I mean? So, so don't panic or despair if you've got, pick your most common ones, but if for some reason you've got an 11, a 13, a 15, but you don't have a 22, chances are B&M of the range will sort you out. or a pound shop, right? So
I'll just carry a big adjustable. You'll be fine.
a kind of big adjustment, you'll be fine. But as you say, you've got to know your bike to know what things you think you'll be needing. Yeah. You also want somebody to store the tools. So a wee tool roll or something's always dead handy, you know, or a wee separate tool bag or something. But only if you've got the luggage space to put it in, you know,
Aye,
or a bag. Yeah.
that's true.
If you have a chain, try and get a small tube or spray of chain lube, just to make sure as it's going through and it's getting washed with water and dirt and grime and all that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that you lube it, you know.
Yes.
This is just turned into a fest of shocking,
as
not suitable for work content. We're supposed to be talking about going for a pleasant dander in the country. And we're talking dander, and we're talking about riding, making sure everything's lubricated with your rubbers and your shaft and everything. This is just shocking. Who'd have thought that
filth.
it's filth, absolute filth. And when you've got that level of filth, get yourself some WD-40 or some water repellent to help get rid of it. Hey. So again, depending on the weather, age of the bike, and maybe a wee WD-40. You can get tiny wee canisters, which is brilliant. So just keep a couple of them for the ride. You know what I mean?
I remember I used to have an old MG Metro, right?
Aye.
And see when it rained heavy, you used to have to take a can of WD-40 out and spray all on the engine before it would start again.
Really? Wow.
Aye. So again, depending on the age of your bike.
Yeah, I'm to be fair, I'm surprised that you had to wait for it to rain before you had to do that with the MG Metro. But here you go.
Aye, just the rain. It started every other time for some reason, but just that.
Puncture kit if you know how to use it. Do you know what I mean? Tire levers and a spare tube if you can, and then pick yourself up a wee. I've picked myself up a wee handheld tire compressor, actually quite handy. You know,
Aye, I've got a little puncture repair kit thingy me differ with it, and the thing that goes in, but it comes with 3 or 4 wee canisters, which you mean is enough probably to get it up to get you to a petrol station or somewhere like here where you can pump it up, but it's no, they're not ideal. You know what I mean? But if you've got space for a wee compressor that just plugs into a wee DIN socket or something, ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one I've actually got. It's cordless. You charge it up, USB-C. Very good.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. It's good for I think it's good for like 20 inflations or something like that. Anyway, which is more than enough to get you somewhere. Now you've got all that kind of stuff. Now we're back to our checklist for psychopaths. Also carry cable ties and duct tape. Cable ties if you get loose wires or cables or anything like that. Just a wee cable tie or something. Just it's your friend. The cable tie is your friend. You know what I mean? And duct tape. You know the old saying: if it moves and it shouldn't, use duct tape. If it's not moving and it should, use WD-40. Yeah, you can solve a multitude of problems, and most bikers have this stuff lying about the house. Absolutely. Lastly, touch wood, right? And there we go. Talking about touching your wood again. There we go. Your breakdown cover details, if you have it. So, quite a lot of people. A good thing to check, actually, I would say, if is do you have it through maybe if you don't think you've got breakdown cover, it might have been added on your insurance. You don't know about it. It might have been added on through your bank accounts or your credit cards.
Oh, aye, because some bank, take out a bank account and we'll give these.
Because I've got that in my bank account. I've got the AA membership in my bank account, so I don't need to get AA because it's there, and it doesn't have like hire car and all that stuff, but it has the from at home and out the way and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. So, breakdown cover, I would say definitely breakdown cover. A lot of your breakdown cover places also have reciprocating deals in abroad as well. So if you're a member of AA, you can, they've got an agreement with Europe, areas in Europe. So, to give you some basic cover. Yeah, breakdown cover is all good. There we go. There you go. Store the details as a contact in your phone. But one thing not to do, and this was especially if you're an AA member, and I used to work for the AA, so this is why I know this, right? Do not store it as AA, yeah, because 99 times out of 100, if you pocket dial via your contacts, you're going to phone the first number on your phone, which is the AA. The amount of empty calls that we got through in our breakdown lines when I worked for the AA.
Oh, really?
Aye. And it was because people put AA at the top of that.
So store it as the AA.
The AA, or and some phones are a bit clever about that, so the AA is probably better. So
That
or breakdown or whatever, but just don't put it as AA, just in case, and in the off chance you pocket dial from your contacts, that'll be the first one that phones. There we go.
good thinking.
We hint. What we've got next, Dan? Well, I can mute myself and cough.
So that rounds off the bike section. Remember, you need luggage or fastenings for luggage, so panniers, top box, Krieger backpack, or similar, and obviously the fixings to go with it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you need to put this stuff somewhere. It's all fine us talking through stuff, but you need to be able to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
And a way to protect the bike is obviously good as well. So either a disc lock, a chain, maybe even a cover, depending on how much luggage you've got, depending where you're going and what the weather's going to be. But whatever is your kind of preferred option and whatever you've got space for. Unless you're obviously going somewhere that's got completely 100% secure parking, then you could get away with it. But I know personally I'm going to take a disc lock with me. Just so that it's there.
Yeah, there's a couple of good. I mean, if you go back to one of our first, podcasts, we did talk about security. There's some great ideas there, disc locks and things like that, and
there's probably
there's a light lock, which is quite cool. I've got a light lock. Yeah.
See, I toyed with buying one of them.
There we go. Yep.
I did toy with buying one of them for going away, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I mean, all the hotels are going to apparently have secure parking.
Yeah.
But
borrow mine if you want. You can take mine if you want. It's fine.
I know. I'll see how much space I've got once I've packed it up. I do a dry run it, packing it up.
The beauty of the bike lock apparently is that you can wear it like a belt. Yeah. I bought the light lock. That's not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere near around my belly. I tell you. You know what I mean? It might go around John's belly because he's like a stick insect. Do you know what I mean? But there ain't no way I'm wearing that's a belt.
He posted a video recently. Wasn't that long ago where they went a trip around the Isle of Wight, and he took the light lock with him, right, to do a kind of review on it.
Right.
He said the same. It's supposed to go in it can go in your waist, but it's not going in his waist. Right. If it's not going in his, it's definitely not going in mine. And so he kind of put it round the back, the back seat of the bike.
Yep.
What fun was once he sat on the bike, obviously he's going to bumps in the shop, kicking in. It was starting to rub against the back wheel, so it was starting to rub all the fabric off it. I mean, the fabric's no what's holding the. I mean, it's not protecting the bike; it's what's under that. But it was just, it's funny to see. Yeah. And obviously, just talking about that.
The last trip I took to Ireland on the bike, I took the light lock, and again, could have put it around my waist. It wasn't happening. Computer says no. They're not adjustable either. So I put it. I keep a bungee corded my bag to the pillion seat, and I put the light lock round the bag. Because it's not adjustable and it didn't fit the bag properly, it slid to the side and actually started to pull the bag off to the side a wee bit. Now there was no fear of the bag coming off. It was like strapped onto buggery, but the light lock and everything like that and kind of get in the way. So it sounds a great idea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But actually, I ended up putting it in my rucksack and just make my rucksack this big round circular thing, which had like a light lock frame. Kind of
prawn disc.
Exactly. So there we go. So the light lock's it is a great bit of kit for doing that, but only if you get somewhere decent to store it.
I mean, totally. I mean, I think if you need a pannier or a decent sized top box.
Yeah, but I would suggest it has to be a hard sided pannier. It wouldn't if it's a cloth sided pannier, it's going to push against it and misshape it or anything. So, like for instance, I'm getting the Triumph bags put on the side of the Speedmaster, right, on the side of the Overlook.
Of course.
Nice.
Why would you not?
Why would you not, right? It looks great. It will look gorgeous. A lot of things they're saying though is that they are quite small, and obviously they're leather. So if you overload them, they can get misshapen quite quickly. So the last thing I'd want to do would to put a very heavy
misshapen bags.
Exactly. I'd be too busy, working on my shaft, cleaning, making everything lubricated. I wouldn't want misshapen bags at the same time.
No, that just takes off the look. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So now we've got our bike fit for purpose and we've got our tools packed and all that kind of good stuff. Let's look at the rider. The person.
Rider. Your Sam. Let's look at your Sam.
Single most important bit is your gear. So it's a given that we all need a helmet, a jacket, gloves, trousers, boots, all of the usual safety stuff that you would put on to go on the bike in general. However, did you think about carrying spare gloves? Maybe even a spare jacket or an armoured hoodie. Again, depending how long
Yeah.
you've been away, what the weather's like, and how much space you've got to keep them, obviously. Snoods, again,
Yep.
always carry a couple. They don't
Always
take up
handy
too
to
much
have.
space. And I don't know, it depends on the weather. It might get a bit sweaty or whatever. Always handy to have a change. Sunglasses, again, even if you have a dark visor, I mean, sunglasses are always nice to have so that you can just leave the lid and all that open and just have the wind in your face. But then if you're obviously off the bike and you're out and about, you can still wear them.
Yes, absolutely.
Keeps it out.
Mm.
If you've got a Gore-Tex suit, then great. But if you don't, you thought about waterproofs. Again, some might even argue that just buying waterproofs anyway is not a bad idea because
Yeah.
it's an extra layer of protection.
And Gore-Tex, the Gore-Tex stuff's expensive. Yeah, it is super expensive, and you can get a reasonable amount of protection with, say, your Kevlar jeans that you've already got and a pair of waterproofs over the top.
Aye,
Do you know what
and
I
the
mean?
other thing is
Yeah.
having like jeans on and then your waterproofs is you're trapping on another layer
Another layer of heat.
air.
Yeah,
So that
absolutely.
obviously keeps you warm.
Yeah.
If temperatures do plummet.
Yes. Yeah, and also actually, I mean, a Gore-Tex suit. I don't have a Gore-Tex suit. I've got kind of, is it Duratech or something, that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? But
Laminate.
you know, the pretend stuff, and you know, the Poundland Gore-Tex, and I've got that. Do you know what I mean? You know, I think sometimes though, if you're out and about in the bike, Gore-Tex can get really warm.
Aye.
You know, so you know, sometimes it's better to be able to take those layers off as well. So there you go. Yeah, it depends. Again, it depends where you're going.
Totally.
There we go. Heated gear. So depending on the time of year, or depending where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could be going up, you could be doing a wee Scandinavian tour or something like that, or you could be going quite high. You know, if you're going through Scotland, you can get quite high at some points. Applecross Road could be quite chilly on a summer's day. Do you know what I mean? So,
I know, but not actually.
for example,
I just thought, depending how far up a country you could be going, depending on the country you pick, depending on the time of year and all that,
aye.
temperatures come up. But I never thought, even just going to altitude, the temperature could really
Yep.
plummet. Good thinking.
Exactly. So have a wee think about the altitudes that you're going to be meeting as well. You know, absolutely. And again, when your temperature's down or when you're uncomfortable, your concentration levels are shot to pieces. And if you've been riding for a few hours, you're a bit tired, and then you're getting cold and everything. It's a recipe for a wee slip up, and you don't want that. So,
Aye.
you know,
Just
think about that. You know, yep. Now, last thing.
Yep.
Now, this isn't essential, but we like to carry it in terms of rider equipment. Yeah. A visor cap if you don't have gloves that have a wiper attached. So that's you on the bike. Yeah. A visor cap is to clean your isn't it? So
It's like a windscreen wiper that comes on your finger.
yeah.
A wee sponge on it. I've got one.
Aye.
Honestly, God,
It's a lifesaver because if you don't and you're using your gloves, all of a sudden you've got a soaking wet hand.
aye.
You know,
And it
so
doesn't always get it right. Do you know what I mean?
it doesn't get it. I don't have any gloves that are good like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a very handy wee thing to have, and it takes up little to no space.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So there you go. So that, as we said, that's you on the bike. You get your gear, you're sorted. But what about off the bike? So off the bike, you've got to your hotel. You got off the bike. You want to go to the pub. Are you going to be going to the pub fully biked up in your Gore-Tex gear?
Aye, no, because you'll be sweating like a.
Years and years ago, and if people of a certain age, you might even be too young for this, Darren, right? There was a TV sitcom, and I think it was called Just Good Friends, right? And it was a. Do you remember that? Yeah.
I remember
Just
the
Good
name
Friends.
of it. Aye,
And the guy that was it Vince or something, the character's name kind of mind, and there was a young girl in it as well, and he was like Paul, what's his face, Paul Castle or something like. Anyway, good. I can't mind, but anyway, good looking guy. No, it wasn't McGann. It wasn't the McGann brothers. It was he was a big West End star, did Barnum and all that kind of stuff.
Big blonde fella.
Blonde kind of. Aye. So can't mind his name. If you remember it, folks, stick a wee comment on our socials. Remind me, will you? But he played a character. I think it was Vince, but it might not be. But he was a bike. One of the episodes, he picked up the girl on the bike, and they were in the waterproofs. You know, a big Nicholas, Paul Nicholas, Paul Nicholas. Yeah, well done, nice one. And he picked up the girl in the onesie waterproof suit, and he was taking her out to the club. So they get to the club. and he gets off the bike and she gets off the bike. Then he takes off his waterproof suit, and of course he's got his disco trendy suit underneath. And she's like that. I didn't realise I was still wearing anything underneath the suit. So it then cuts to a scene in the disco in the 80s, you know, with he's there with his big shoulder pads dancing away, and she's sitting in a fully waterproof biker suit that she can't take off because she's not got any clothes on under it. So, there you go. Can I digress slightly there? But that has always reminded me when I think of biking, I always think of that. How many people have made that mistake of not actually having appropriate clothing with them for when they got off the bike.
Yes.
Hopefully there'll be loads of people out here listening going, oh man, I remember that was brilliant.
I remember that time I went to disco with my waterproof suit on.
Exactly. So I'm sure we've all done it, you know. So for a week's trip, and you know where you're riding every day, what are you going to take minimal to go? What are you going to take?
Minimalistic. I'm gonna, and this is my full gear, right? This is
okay.
So obviously my trousers, my Risha trousers and laminate jacket and whatever, right? Although I'm still not told whether to wear that jacket or my Harley jacket. It'll depend on the weather. I'll check the weather. But in terms of the rest of my clothes, I am taking 7 t-shirts, 8 pairs of undies, 7 pairs of socks, 1 pair of cargo trousers, and a pair of trainers, and that's it.
Right.
And my reasoning behind that is I'll ride in that t-shirt that day, and then that's it done. When we go out for dinner that night, I'll wear the t-shirt for the following day, and then in the morning just put that one back on again.
I actually only wear it for an hour or so. So
an hour at night, and then you go into the hotel, crashing out. Just got to put it on in the morning, ride all day with that one on, bin it, because it means when you get to the hotel and you get showered, you're putting a fresh one on. As opposed to putting the stinky one
just in case there's a wee bit of action in the hotel bar at night, you know.
What
up north in Scotland, there, a few beers, you know. Wee singer, my clutchy comes in. Aren't you smelling lovely? You will. I'm sorry, darling. I know I'm smelling lovely, and I know I've made your night, but I'm a happily married man. But I appreciate the nod to my masculinity.
That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking by the time you spent all day riding, you know what I mean, you're gonna get to the hotel, have a bite to eat and a pint, and then you're gonna go. And you'll
that's true.
Sleep, you know what I mean, to the land of England. So yes, that's what I will be packing clothes wise.
Good shout, yeah. Good shout. Yeah.
There is obviously other essentials.
Well, you know, there's no point in putting on a clean t-shirt if the rest of your body stinks.
Correct. So, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant is kind of a must. Obviously, you don't need soap and shampoo because the chances are hotels will have them.
Yes.
Unless you're going.
But if you're doing
camping,
yeah. Right.
Remember and pack those.
Then you're going to smell like shit anyway, so what do you worry about
it? And you can get these all-in-one shower hair thingy gels that are, you mean you can do the whole top to bottom. You know, and you don't thingy. You know, I mean, but I think that's more of a guy.
There's an image I didn't want, but anyway.
I think that's more a guy thing, though, isn't it? Guys just don't care. They'll just
I think so.
Shampoo anything.
We'll go until something starts growing on us. You know what I mean?
So pretty much, mate, pretty much. The other thing to remember is medication. If anyone out there's on medication over a certain age where they've got no option but to be on medication, always remember and pack enough pills for said trip.
And also, remember for those that are visually challenged, if you're a contact lens wearer, pack more contact lenses than you need, because you know what it's like. They can go dry or pop out your eyes and all that kind of stuff. So.
And I probably take a pair of Gregory Peck's way. Is that
a spare pair, maybe even, you know. I tend to put my Gregory's on when I'm riding, but if something's to hit them or break them, I have to keep a spare pair, you know.
Oh, aye. Good thinking. Keep a spare pair. Yep. Again, the way I think about it is if you travel on a plane and think hold luggage, what can you get in a little clear bag, hold luggage wise? Do you know what I mean? To take with you if you're trying to keep space to it.
Surely that's hand luggage, no hold luggage.
Hand luggage, yes, hand luggage. Right. Hold luggage, you can put whatever you like in, with the exception of Semtex and C4.
Yes, absolutely. You know that's it. But do put in a block, put in a block of marzipan for a laugh one day. See what happens. That'd be fun.
Aye. If you want a free anal probing, yep,
exactly.
Good thinking.
For some people, that might be quite appealing. Anyway,
and also remember that if you have a pillion on the tour, You're going to maybe need to double up on some of that stuff.
Absolutely. Now, I kind of think of anything worse than being a pillion on a smaller motorcycle for that length of time. But I know people do it. I can see things like a gold wing or something being a pillion on that's great because you're just sitting in a throne behind somebody. Do you know what I mean? With loads of luggage
For the
space,
manner.
and the bike's about the same width as one and
That's
a
the
half
dream.
cars.
Aye,
Yes,
exactly.
but you know, and it's like I've thought to myself, would I go to Ireland with John as my pillion? No, but quite happy now that he's got his bike and everything. You know, absolutely.
Exactly.
You know, so all
Can you,
good.
has he got luggage for his bobber? Can you get luggage for the bobber?
No, but he's going to. I think you can apparently. You can. I went on and customized the bobber on the Triumph thing, and I believe there is luggage. I believe it's actually similar to the stuff you can get for the Speedmaster, or you can get smaller ones which are like wee kind of triangles, but they're kind of handbag size. You know what I mean? So,
Aye.
and that is another thing. Make sure your luggage is appropriate size. You know, I think once I've got the pannier rails fitted to the Speedmaster, there'll be non-Triumph related stuff that will go into that pannier.
Oh, I totally.
Well,
I think
you know what I
the key
mean?
point is the pannier rail.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly.
that's the
So
key bit.
yeah,
I
you
mean,
know.
and that's probably the more expensive bit because they know you need that more than
Well,
the bag.
the bags are expensive, right? But a lot of all the reviews say they're lovely crafted. Do you know what I mean? They're
Aye.
beautifully crafted and everything. I think one of the comments wasn't that I'm assuming I'll need to spend extra is they don't come with a waterproof cover. A few people have been annoyed about that. You
Ah,
know,
can you Scotch
so
guard them?
well they're yeah, but apparently, because they're only buckle fastened rather than like a full zip or anything,
Aye.
they're not super watertight if you've been through the. So I might invest in
Aye,
the I might invest in the the covers for them. You know, for all it is, but the thing is I might look at cheaper ones than the I think try and want 50 quid or something for a couple of waterproof covers. Do you know what I mean? So
Or why don't you look at dry bags for inside them?
yeah, totally. Yeah, well that's another thing. You know, just
I mean,
one of those dry bags. So, but I'll not know that until I get to size them. You know.
no. Let's get it out the wrapper first.
Aye, exactly. I'm going away the middle of April for a couple of nights, so that'll be a good test on it. You know.
Hmm,
Yes.
that'd be good. Right, capturing the tour, Ian.
Yes. So this is my area of expertise.
Expertise.
So now, as you know, this one you probably think would only apply to us geeky vloggers. Yeah. But actually it doesn't. Anyone who wants memories of their event should take at least a camera, even if it's just on your phone. So first up, take your phone.
Hey,
You know, take your phone and get yourself something like a quad lock or something like that. So your phone's there and ready for you to use. Absolutely, definitely. If you want to take like a GoPro or a Ghost or an Insta360, then you can. Just remember though, if you do, you'll need some extras, right? So you'll definitely need stuff to charge them, and whether you're adding in like a wee power bank or something like that that you want to keep in your luggage just to charge it up. I've got one of them. Or whether you can get it charged via the bike, you know, through the auxiliary sockets or whatever. You know, think about your cables. That's where your cable ties and everything come in. But there's loads of options for you to do that, and also, I mean, a lot of these ones will last maybe a couple of hours of battery, but they're easy enough to get spare batteries for. So just go and charge your batteries up. A useful thing to get is one of those kind of multiple battery chargers. So at night you can charge up several batteries overnight. You know, I've got one from Insta360X2, and it holds up to 3 Insta360 batteries. So I know I could put them in at night, and then when Insta360 runs out, I can just swap the battery over, boom, carry on, keep doing my stuff. Yep. Multiple SD cards, absolutely. Ensure you get the right card for your right camera. And as a rule of thumb, get a category 3 card if you're trying to shoot 4K. Anything below that, your camera will probably say you cannot, it won't accept it, or it will give you poor quality if you try and shoot in 4K. And then, yep, there you go, a wee 4K white fuzzy square. And, you know, do that. So,
focus that thing, does it?
exactly. You know, so if you're, and to be fair, the difference in price between a 1 and a 3 now is very small. So you're as well just getting a 3.
Aye.
And then that way, even if you're shooting 1080p, You know what I mean? You're covered. And it's all to do with the data transfer rate and how quick it transfers data.
Aye. Chances are you
So,
probably
excuse me,
upgrade
very
your
coughing
camera.
in there, but
You probably
yeah.
upgrade your camera before you upgrade your SD card. So you buy if you buy a 3, at least you know if for whatever reason you do get a 4K camera, whatever, or
Yeah.
decide to shoot in 4K, your card's going to take it.
If you've got like a DSLR or something like that, and maybe it's got a couple of SD slots, that's a good use of your older SD cards. So set your camera up, slot 1's for pictures, slot 2's for video. Put the older SD card into slot 1 for taking your photographs, doesn't matter, but the transfer speed is much. But if you're shooting 4K or whatever, or video on your DSLR or your mirrorless, then put your zone 3 into the second one. There you go.
Good thinking. Batman.
We check there, yeah, absolutely. But actually, I would say, if you want shoot most things in 1080p, you're not going to be unless you're producing it on big to show off on big massive televisions, then 1080p gives you far more storage space in your SD cards. You'll still get really sharp images. You'll probably get some better options in terms of frame rates and in terms of kind of features in the cameras. I know, especially if you've got a drone, for instance, a lot of the drones won't shoot in 4K at anything other than 24 frames per second. A lot of the master shots and special shots that you can get with drones, they don't let you shoot in 4K because of them. Certainly don't let you shoot in higher frame rates. So if you're into that kind of geeky frame rate stuff and all that, yeah, then read all your stuff like that, for instance, that video camera I've got, for instance, only shoots in 4K 24 frames per second.
Oh,
so if you want to do slow-mo and all that kind of stuff, a lot of cameras, their slow-mo will only shoot in 1080p because it's shooting at 120 or 240 frames per second, and it's trying to send, if you're shooting at 240 frames per second, it's trying to send 240 4K images every second to that memory card. It's just going to become this wee ball of heat, and the whole thing's just going to heat up. So, so there's practical reasons why right now they don't do that kind of thing, because, it's just the amount of processing power these things need, and you'll just watch your battery go, so, so 1080p. I mean, what I tend to do is shooting 4K and processing 1080p. If I'm doing lots of short snippets, that gives you a bit of flexibility and zooming in and coming out and not losing quality on the image, which is great. You can crop some stuff and still not lose any image quality. And as we know, hopefully from you watching the YouTube stuff and all that, the 1080p stuff looks great. So it's not a huge issue.
That's probably something we need to chat about them before I go away.
Yes, absolutely.
What's my optimal set? Because I'm still torn on how many cameras I'm going to take.
Well, again, that's weight and space related as well, isn't it? You know what I mean? So
and it's just the charging and constantly switching batteries and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I'm thinking I might just if I just go with my Insta360 X3 on its pole up front, then I can just put it on for the interesting and good bits. It's probably less editing rather than record absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And then have a headache of editing and storing it.
I do think what would be quite good though, if you've got it, is a wee strategically placed GoPro or something down near your chain of your feet, or pointing out the back of the bike, just to give you a couple of more angles, just to make it more interesting. The beauty with editing, of course, folks, is if you're riding along, you just want to put a wee interesting shot of your feet changing gear, bump bump. You can reuse that image. Loads of times. It's just to make you realise you're about to do a wee video clip of you overtaking a Porsche or something, right? It's a cool bit where you're on about, you're going to watch this. So you do that, cut to the video clip of the foot going down, and all you're seeing is the foot going down, the same colour of sky, and the foot, and then back to the bike going boom, zooming away. You know what I mean?
I never thought in that, so I might just take my GoPro for that reason.
The next time you're watching the telly or watching a movie, try and see if you can notice the amount of times they use the same shot. Establishing shots, all these kind of things, they use them all the time. Really badly in a film called The Room. If you've heard of that film, if not, look it up, read the bump on it in Wikipedia. It's technically the worst film ever made, I think. So there you go. Not only do you use the same B-roll all the time, it's inappropriately used for the wrong things. So it's
Oh, is it?
brilliant. Oh, it's superb. Anyway, so we digress slightly from biking, but it's worth a watch. Yeah. We've not covered here though is what to do once you've taken your footage. Yeah, we've not covered that yet, have we? No.
No, we have not. That's a good point.
Yeah. It's about clearing your footage daily. If you've got loads and loads of SD cards, then brilliant. But I would say, having been culprit of this, back up your footage anyway. If you get something that you can back your footage up on, iPad, even an old phone that's got a lot of memory, anything like that, something that you can back your footage up to, because your card could go corrupt. Simple as that. So or you could put the wrong card in and format it or something, thinking it's a new card, and lose your footage. So always try and do a wee backup. Have a wee system as well. If you can mark your cards in some way, then mark them so you know which ones you've used, which ones you've not used. I know it's a bit geeky and a wee bit anyway, a wee notepad, cards 1 through to 20, and just put in day, date, and all that kind of stuff, and what you put in card 1, card 2, and all that. Just a wee sharpie and number in that.
That's a good.
There you go.
No, I'm going to do though.
Very handy.
No,
No, of course you know. I don't do it either. And listen to what I say, know what I do. Do you know what I mean? But that's from. To be fair, that's from coming in film sets. They're like anal about that. You know what I mean? And that was maybe if they're shooting film, they'll take the roll of film off the camera and they mark it. They double mark it. They put exactly what's on at the time it was taken, the date it was taken, and everything, so that when it goes to the editor, they can go brilliant. Absolutely. So there you go. So a wee hint and tip of practicality when you're taking your footage, when you're capturing your tour. So yeah, that's a good thing. So what are you going to do anyway? So what are you planning to take to back up? Are you going to take laptop? You take an external hard drive? What you thinking of doing?
So I've got an old, I say old, MacBook Air.
Right.
And it's got an SD card slot on it, which means, and it's a full size SD card slot, but obviously you get these little adapter things. Right, that you can slot them in, and it writes much faster to the hard drive on one of those rather than putting it in via like a USB reader thing. So I'm going to take that with me, and I've also got a little, I don't know how much this is.
External hard drive?
2 terabyte, 4 terabyte maybe.
Nice
drive, and I'm just going to back up onto that as well, just so that if anything should happen, I've got both covered.
I still can't believe when we're talking about 2 4 terabyte hard drives, and I remember how excited I was in 1991 when I had a Commodore Amiga 1200 with a 40 meg hard drive. Do you know what I mean?
I was like, wow,
wow, 40 megs. I've fitted this hard drive, and it means that I can play Monkey Island without changing discs. It's brilliant. So
I know,
40 megs, and now we're talking about 4 terabytes. Unbelievable. Anyway,
I remember we were talking about this, and again we digress, but obviously, Sid's doing a portfolio thing for shooting for the college, and it's all kind of the 80s, and obviously, she'd ask me the kind of set questions, right? Like, do you remember for the 80s? What's your first thought of the 80s? Blah blah. And one of the things I did is I always remember my first computer was a ZX Spectrum 48K, and 48K was the RAM. That's why it was that. And you're thinking 48K. My phones get more than that these days.
Yeah,
it's just absolutely frightening.
And actually, there was a 16K before the 48K came out that had a black and white screen. This was your first color computer.
Aye,
rubber keys that you could rub your homework out with.
I know. And it took you days to get it to go. Do.
Yeah,
But yes, anyway, we digress. Yes, so I'll be taking my MacBook Air and a little hard drive, and at night I'm just going to download all the footage into a little folder system so that I've got day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5.
One of the key things with your editing video is labeling things really well, and then you're not wasting loads of time.
No,
try to re-watch footage and go, what day is that? Because all it takes is for something to happen to your camera and the date changes in your camera, and then the metadata on it doesn't match.
No,
easy done. And actually, the Insta360 app is terrible for that. It's terrible for putting the wrong dates in files.
Oh, the date system's weird, don't it? Do you know what I mean? So I'm just thinking, if I just download some of that stuff, do you know what I mean? and I probably won't. And the good thing about obviously the 360, the X3 obviously has that little button, which means you can just obviously tap it and it starts recording straight away, and you can then just flick to whether you want the front screen, the back screen, or the 360. Which means if you're riding along, you just want some shots of the cool heading towards Glencoe. If you just want that shot of what's coming to Glencoe, just stick it in single shot.
Like an action cam, just like standard action cam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then obviously as you go through Glencoe, pop it into 360 mode and you get you and all the hills and Jimmy Savile's house and everything else. Happy days.
Is that still there?
I don't know, mate.
Yeah.
I thought they were pulling it down, but I don't know. I will tell you when I get through there. Now, the only thing on that, right, which isn't on here, which obviously we guessed about, is this 360, right? I bought the lens covers for them.
I don't have them.
And the last time I was shooting, the glare was just horrific. Do you know what I mean? It was almost unusable footage because the glare, you could tell it was like shooting at a fishbowl.
Yeah.
I think
if you're using a 360 camera, you've got to be careful with the 360 camera, right? That you don't put one side to a really bright light source and one side to a really dark light source.
Because then you see the stitch
because then you see the stitch line, but also it tries to compensate for both, and you get that overexposure on the darker side. You know, you've got to angle it to the dark side. Oh, I am your father. I'm gonna have check my deep one over for that. No, really. It's just deep, and it's no asthmatic. So
you just need to work on your James Earl Jones impression.
That's it. Here you go. So yeah, the 360 is got a thing. I don't use the lens cap cover things, and I still get a bit of glare. So I think just the nature of those cameras is quite glary at times. We've not covered things like gimbals and tripods and all that kind of stuff, but we've got selfie sticks and things like that you can maybe pack in. Again, all these things take up space, so it depends how much space you've got and how much weight you want to carry along with you on the run. You know, I mean, I've got a couple of gimbals for my mirrorless cameras, but I'd debate even take my mirrorless camera because it's, that's not a big camera, but once you add a lens or two to it, all of a sudden you're going,
No, and I think that's one of the ones is if you had a I don't know, like a 70-230 lens, you know, a kind of a kind of go to covers all options lens, then fair enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've got like I think I've got like a 20-40-70, right? And then I've also got a 70-200. That is massive, that lens. I think it weighs about 2 kilos just for the lens. Do you know what I mean? So you're just like, nah, I'm not taking that. Do you know what I mean? You can't mount that in a gimbal anyway. It's too heavy and too off kilter to mount in a gimbal anyway, that kind of lens. But whatever you're taking, the basics remain the same, whether it's like that kind of stuff. Power, cards, cables, backing things up. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah,
straightforward. All right, let's move on.
And the only other thing we haven't mentioned is drones. Whether or not you've got a drone. If you are taking a drone, read up on the drone laws and make sure that you're not getting yourself into trouble.
And watch out for the signs.
Yeah.
You pull into the car park at Elan Donnan, it says don't fly drones. Doesn't mean to say you can't park at the other side, at the head of the lock, and that car park and fly a drone because it doesn't say it there. So
yeah. And actually, it's that sign. We've said this a few times in podcasts now. It is about you don't have permission to take off from there, but actually they can't stop you from flying over the castle. It's not a flight restriction zone, and they do not own the airspace. So that'll no stop a job with a security guy from coming up and hassling you. And do you know what I mean? And sometimes it's just not worth the hassle. You know, if you want to have a fight with somebody, then have a fight. But the point is, you're going to have to say to them, "Excuse me, I'm controlling a drone. I'll speak to you in a minute." Bring the drone down, stop it, and then have the fight. And the drone's at the sky anyway. Do you know what I mean? So,
good point.
Yes, I would love to go up and take lots of nice drone footage at Elan Donnan Castle, but it's just not worth the effing hassle. Do you know what I mean? National Trust things and National Trust for Scotland things all have rules saying you cannot fly drones within National Trust parks. What is Glencoe? National Trust Park. Now, I think you can write to National Trust for Scotland and you can say, I'm on a bike trip. I'm going through Glencoe. I don't want to fly it in Culzean Castle. I don't want to fly it where there's loads of people. I just want to be, if I'm in, I want to maybe stop and take some pictures. They'll probably be fine with it. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
If you're a hobbyist, if you want to do it commercially, they'll charge an absolute fortune, that kind of thing. But it's about having permission for takeoff. Yeah, that's permission to take off is the key. They don't actually own the airspace above. There you go.
Go
So,
permission for takeoff.
if you've got a DJI drone, especially when you're doing stuff, your DJI drone, if you go into a zone which is a restricted flight zone with your drone, it won't let you take off anyway. There's a
No,
database
no.
that DJI is linked to, so
Aye, it's
there
quite
we
good
go.
that. Do you know what I mean?
That's quite good. But you can apply for you can apply for a code to unlock that. You can get in touch and you can get DJI and say, I've spoken to such and such, and they said, but it can take like 24 hours for the code to come through. So you
Aye,
lose that moment. It's really more for pre-planning and stuff like that.
I know, and it's one of the ones. Would you go? I mean, obviously, when I first bought mine, my wee Air, but when I bought my Typhoon, it just would not let you
Aye.
because we're so close to the airport, and it's obviously above the. You know what I mean,
Mm.
the time is above the weight. Whereas my wee Air, you know what I mean, again, we're still in that yellow zone. We're not in the red zone, but we're in the yellow zone. You can apply for like 24-hour pass, but
Aye.
it doesn't let you fly above a certain height and stuff like that.
Yes.
Do you know what I
You
mean?
shouldn't be flying above 400 feet anyway, but
No. And to be honest, at 400 feet, I can't see it. So, and then I get nervous and stuff. So, forget
well, and also you should always have visual line of sight. Obviously, I know all that stuff, right?
Yep.
You've got a visual line of sight. So if you can't see that drone, you have
lost visual sight.
you've broken the drone laws. So
That's me and my bad eyesight. It's old age.
Aye.
Anyway,
put a strobe on it, and then you can miss it.
and have a disco.
Yeah.
Let's talk emergency.
Excellent. Yep. No, we don't want to spend too much on this because it's a bit of a downer chit chat, but it is important. Let's be honest, it is important.
Yes, it is. It is important. Ignoring all the bike related stuff that you're carrying, tools, brakes and cover, etc. It might also be worth thinking about carrying some sort of identification. So your driving license, passport, whatever, and maybe a next of kin card and contact details, as well as like a first aid kit. So I'm
We first aid kit's handy. Yeah.
Aye, we first aid kit I'm carrying in mine just because it's like we always have one in the car and stuff like that. And I always did say I was going to get one for the bike for whatever reason. Might not necessarily be for you. It could be for even just somebody that's either.
But if something happens to your bike and you're just fixing something in the bike and your finger slips and you cut it,
aye, you're there.
You don't want to cover your nice new Garibaldi gloves, for instance.
No,
in blood.
That would be bad. Oh, you wearing them tomorrow?
Aye.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, again, first aid kit, there's loads of little bespoke ones and all that kind of stuff. But see, to be honest, as long as it's got the basics in there, plasters, scissors, bandage, maybe even a foil blanket, eye patch, maybe some these saline things that you can
just
size out of cuts and stuff like that, then you should be covered. Now, also, lads, if you're listening, don't panic, right? And don't cringe and don't switch off. I'm going to put in another curveball. Sanitary towels. Now, this is assuming the missus let you borrow some, right?
Yeah, well.
This product's actually designed purposely for the job of soaking up blood, and it's got a sticky
Exactly.
state. So, I mean, all I'm saying
hashtag just saying.
Hashtag just saying it's actually fit for purpose. So, I know our first aid kits always have a couple of sanitary towels in them. Do you know what I mean? Just because that's what they're designed for. And you mean don't worry about putting
it makes sense. Yeah,
on and all that. It's just poof, doosh, and it's on and it's dead.
Wrap that on, get it wrapped up. Nah, that's a good shout. Actually, I would never have thought of that.
Oh, aye.
You know what I mean?
I did a first aid course years and years and years ago, and that's what the guy said to me. Get a couple of sanitary towels in your first aid kit. It works a treat. I was like, ever since then, it's kind of stuck. If you pardon the expression.
It makes absolute sense. Of course, it does.
Totally. Also, I would get yourself a wee travel Suda cream. Right, because it does
a great shout.
There's a number of things. It does burns, stings, cuts, all sorts of stuff.
Hours on the saddle.
A wee bit of nappy rash.
Yes.
Go to bed with some of that on. Clears up a treat.
There we go. That's it. Perfect. Nice one. Love it.
That's the morbid bit out of the way. So
short but absorbing. That's what that was.
Oh.
Yes. So it just leaves us with the miscellaneous stuff.
Right.
I've never met a girl miscellaneous, but apparently she's lovely. So not much in this list because we've covered pretty much all of it, but there is the odd bits and bobs. If you're going abroad, remember your V5. It would say a copy, but more and more these days countries want to see the original. So they want to know that your bike's a UK bike.
I think I'll actually Romania.
Aye.
I think you need to have the original and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
So take your V5 with you.
Engine.
Make sure it's all happy and wrapped up and waterproof and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, here we go. Your insurance details, usually got them in your phone anyway, so you're fine. Absolutely. Check with your insurance company if you're going abroad and make sure you're covered for going abroad.
Oh, yeah. And
You
your
know,
breakdown.
yeah, and your breakdown cover. Yeah, well, definitely. Music, if you need that additional road noise drowned out. I've readjusted all my cardio freecom for me and John going out and about.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's all good. Got the music playing again. It was only playing 1 year. I assume something came dislodged when my head hit the ground with the sports star last year. So
Oh.
it's back up and running again, which is good. If
You need to invest in a set of like Edge or Bolds or something. Do you know what I mean? Just as you get further.
yeah, the cardio free comms we've got as a pair, so
Aye.
we can talk to each other, to each other with just with the kind of rider kind of thing.
Aye.
So it's fine as long as we're kind of close enough together, But you're right, maybe getting an upgrade to them. I might move it. I've still got it in my old Batman helmet, which obviously hit the ground and I got repaired. So it's probably, I mean, it was fine. It was just the visor that snapped. It's fine, but I might change it to one of the other helmets for going to Ireland.
Good call.
I'm thinking of maybe getting a new modular helmet just for going to the ferry ports and all that kind of stuff. I just find my roof one's a bit tight now, bit sore on, so I'm thinking of maybe having a look again, which is interesting. I discovered I've actually got quite a lot of loyalty points in my Harley Davidson account. So
Well, having it.
£136 worth. So
We
I'll
got
be
a Harley helmet for your Triumph.
I know Harley him with my Triumph. I know, but I was kind of more thinking if John wanted things, he could buy himself some stuff, and I could get the money and then put it towards a helmet modular. So anyway, if you need if so, you get your comms. We'll talk about that, of course. So if you have a bunch of, make sure your comms are all compatible, whether it's like a mesh thing or whether it's the Ruroc chain app, which we have tested and think is phenomenally shit. Do you know what I mean?
It's probably fine when it's all Rurocs and stuff like that connecting. Do you know what I mean? It's probably
there's
all right.
probably that, or
Just know
if
the
it's
chain app.
or if it's maybe just a better phone signal. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's all it is. But the thing is, though, if you're going to do that, make sure that your phone can stay charged into your bike, because your phone's just going to go boom.
We should retest
So
that actually.
uh
We should do due diligence and probably retest that. And then
aye,
definitely has stronger signal.
maybe a wee kind of run through like the city centre and up. Start our phones at 100%. Turn on the Ruroc. Turn on the chain app. Run for half an hour's run through the city, so we've always got a good 4G, 5G signal.
Yeah.
Come back home and then take a wee note. We can let the listeners know what we found out.
Should do
It was
that.
a battery drain and all that kind of stuff.
Aye, good.
That'd be quite cool.
Shout.
Especially any excuse to ride a new bike. So here's that plan. There we go. Have a map with you, yeah. Sat nav on your phone, yeah. But you should always have a map as well. Scat nav. Yeah. You say that's what you thought. That's not what I thought with the word scat. That's not what I thought with the word scat. You know what I mean? No, that's a different kind of map. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of map where you don't ride a bike, you just go through emotions. Now, thank you, that was good. So, but try and have a paper map with you, because if everything goes, wheels up, you know what I mean. You can't go wrong with a paper map, and put a pen in it so you can chart what you're doing. Absolutely. A map or a wee road atlas or something like that, just to keep you going.
Do an itchy boots and just draw your route on it.
Aye, perfect. Exactly. So
I do like that when she does that. I do think that's quite a cool idea.
Aye.
And I will probably do that. I've got a map. Do you know what I mean? I probably will do that at some point. Is just pencil the road. Do you know what I mean? Just so that you can get the map out and go, look, I did that.
Aye, that's a good
shout. And then you can look
actually.
at the map at a glance and go, what roads have I not done?
Yeah. That's a good shout. It's probably quite a nice wee thing to do at night, is just review it, make sure it's right, and then plot your next one for the next day and get excited about who you're going the next day. Familiarise yourself roughly with, I'm hitting the A9 and I'm going off to the B73 or whatever it is, you know what I mean, wherever you're going, right? Talk to phones and whether or not they work. Make sure that you've got a data bundle if you're going abroad, or get yourself a local prepaid SIM. So You know, that's
Very cool.
definitely a shout. I know a friend of mine who's my boss actually as well. He's going to Japan, so he's been looking into all that for going to Japan. Not on his bike or anything. He's going with the family,
I say
and
that's impressive.
he's going to, but he's going with the family, and
Japan
that's
beat
what.
on a bike though, wasn't it?
Oh, it'd be amazing. They also ride on the left hand side of the road. Wahoo. So, you know, I know, brilliant, superb, nice and easy. So, you know, so something like that. Make sure you look at what it's going to cost. I know that a lot of your providers do offer European cover and all that kind of stuff and everything, but that is not the same as it was a few years ago. A few years ago, especially we used to work for Three, Dan, and I used to work for Three with you, so we know each other, and initially, and Three was brilliant for going abroad. But there's more costs associated now. They're not huge, but there are, you know.
That's all been done away with.
When I went to New Zealand, I just bought a New Zealand pay-as-you-go SIM card, topped it up. There's a lot of places that you can just buy like a SIM card. Say maybe it costs you about 40 quid, but it's unlimited data for the month, and that's what you need. And that's all you need.
Aye.
You
Sure.
know, for £40, you know, you're never going to not be cut short. Currency for your country, of course, if you're going to go there, you know, yes, most places take plastic, but it's always good to have a bit of currency. And don't worry, guys, if you're doing the chicken strips Scotland and you're not from Scotland, you know, Scotland does accept Bank of England notes, so we're okay, we're safe, right? Because you know, in typical, let's not be a stereotypical Scottish pattern, you know, stereotypical Scottish person, but we'll accept any kind of money. Let's be honest.
Totally, aye, absolutely.
Totally. But just remember, use all ours up in Scotland. So when you go back down south, somebody doesn't look at you funny, and then you have that. It's legal tender, you know. Because actually, it's not legal tender. Yeah, but it's actually not legal tender. There you go. Anyway, it depends how far south you live. You know, obviously in Newcastle, you know, they're practically Scottish anyway. So very good. There you go. There you go. Essentials for travelling. Yeah. But what we didn't touch, and sometimes we like to touch things. Sometimes we like to just leave things to the side. We don't touch them all the time. You know what I mean? That's what she said.
And camping.
It's camping. Yep. So we don't touch the camping side of things, but that is a whole other area because you've got tents and sleeping bags and all that kind of stuff. And there's some cool technology out there for tents and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I think the norm. When I say the norm, but there's a whole rake of what they call air tents, which is literally a tent that doesn't have pegs, and you actually just blow up.
You're just gonna pop it up in a frame, and the frame just goes ka-ching. Oh yeah, there's a fantastic tent out there, right? And it's the tent that I would use. In fact, I use all the time, right? And it's called the hotel tent. Yeah, where you go into a building, you pay money, and you stay in a room, right? It's brilliant. You know, it's like a big concrete tent that you just leave behind, and you drive to another big concrete tent.
You get there
brilliant,
already set up for you. It's amazing.
It's exactly, absolutely. Quite often, you don't even need shampoo and things because it's all there for you in the concrete tent. You know, technically a hotel. You know, so that's what you want. You know, love it. Absolutely love it.
New tent is amazing. It's called the Travel Lodge. It's so good.
It's brilliant. To be fair, I've stayed in a few travel lodges where I'd rather wish I was in a bloody tent. To be honest, do you know what I mean?
I'll just sleep in a cardboard box in the street. I know. I totally agree.
So a lot of this stuff, obviously, you've been thinking about, and especially specifically for your chicken strips tour.
Yes.
But tell us what you're taking. Give us a list. Give us the Darren's top list. Darren's list.
This is my
of traveling nirvana
of what I'm taking so far, right? And some stuff may come out, some stuff may go in, but this is what I've got so far. So I've obviously got the t-shirts.
And for the first few things, can you read it in the style of reading the scores out in football at the 5 p.m. program?
T-shirts 7, undies 8, socks 6, cargos 1, trainers 1, waterproofs weather dependent, spare gloves, snoods 3, sunglasses 1.
There you go. That'll do. Right? Carry on. Crack on now.
It was just going normal style, aye.
Yeah, not normal now, yeah.
That does work quite well. Do you know what I mean? Like rolling bag 1, Allen keys 1. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think I've got, you know what I mean?
Cable ties.
Back to gain that job.
That's it.
Anyway,
you've got a roll bag?
Roll bag, Allen keys, screwdriver with the wee bits.
Right.
I'm doing the hand gestures, but the wee bits. Cable ties.
Or a wee hand wrench is quite good as well.
I've actually got two small wrenches. So
Have
I've got a kind of bigger one, and then I've got like a wee fiddly one. Do you know what I mean? Which is really small, which is just handy. Chain lube, puncture repair kit, visor cleaner, visor cat.
Visor cleaner's a good shout, especially in Scotland with the midges and
Aye.
the bugs.
Now
Aye.
we're obviously going in May, so hopefully it's not too bad with midges,
Aye.
but we are doing Sky, so there may be,
West Coast.
there may be some
Yep.
midges. Charging cables, camera, phone, comms, plug, multi USB. I might actually just buy a multi USB plug. You know, one of these ones that's got like 3 or 4 different.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful with them in certain hotels. They might not fit the plug points. So just be careful.
Aye,
That's the annoying thing. But
GoPro or Ghost, not determined yet. Again, then obviously the battery to go inside. SD cards, laptop, external drive, first aid kit, my X3 and stuff. And then all of that is going to fit inside my 42-litre top box. And I've also just ordered a 30-litre SW Motec dry pack bag. The ones with the actual thingy that fastens to the subframe and stuff.
Yeah.
So nice and tight. And
I'm probably going to get something similar to that as well for putting inside my leather panniers.
Well, I went for a
probably smaller because the panniers are only about 13 litres, you see. They're not huge.
See, just before we move on, I toyed with the Krieger bag, right? Because obviously Controversial Colin's got a Krieger bag and highly rates it. But the price was just mental. And you can only really get in for the top on the 30-litre. If you bought the kind of 40-litre, you could get in for both ends, but it just seemed too big.
Yeah.
Go on that, and they wanted like 150 quid or something like that. Whereas the 30-litre SW Motec dry bag is a roll bag that obviously clips down, but then when you unravel it, you can get in the whole bag for the top.
Right.
It means then if you've got stuff laid out in the bag, you don't need to go sifting through the whole bag to get to something at the bottom.
That's good.
There. Yeah. And and it's a little bit narrower, so it means it can sit in the back quite comfortably, and it's no moving about and all that kind of good stuff. So that's why I came out for that option. But also, it has the same kind of idea as the Krieger, where you can attach other bags to the top of it, so that they're all fixed on. So if I want to say it comes in a packet and I go, it's not quite right, I could order the wee 10-litre one to fix onto the top of it as well.
Nice.
So, and then build it up with that. Also, that 30-litre dry bag is ample for overhead storage in a plane. So it means then if I'm ever going away, I can use it from there as well.
I do. That's a fair shout. See, that's the reason for getting the luggage rack I'll be getting, so that I can put a bigger bag on the luggage rack. I bought these today as well, which is these rock straps as well.
They're cracking.
They get a really good rating. So, so when I get the luggage rack fitted, I can just strap the bag on. It should be sorted.
If you're again, the SW Motec bag was 60 quid, so it was like a fraction of the price of the Krieger, right? And it's again 100% waterproof. If you did want that kind of Krieger style, but you don't want to spend like 120 quid for the 30-litre, look at Rhino Walk. Rhino Walk do a bag very similar, and I saw it on special for $35.99 this week.
Nice.
But again, it's still a roll bag, so it's still waterproof. Anything inside the actual roll bag bit. And it comes with the straps the same. It's obviously just a slightly cheaper make than the Krieger, but it's almost mimicking exactly the same, including the fastenings. So again, there is options.
Yeah, I'm just having a wee look here. Yeah, nice.
But yes,
I've got an Amazon size. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Yeah, that's nice.
I know.
And it's what it is, that's brilliant.
And it comes in yellow. Yellow.
See that, but I don't have a yellow bike anymore, so.
No, you don't. I mean, you kind of.
I still like it.
You fucked that one up, but I'll forgive you.
No, but it's red and it's colour of blood, therefore it works for the shining. So
see, that's why when I mean, I know there was a multitude of options.
Yeah,
extra in the shining, and red rum was on there.
Red rum was on there.
Red rum, I thought, and that's quite clever. Other than the fact that, I mean, if you've seen The Shining, red rum is obviously something spelled backwards. So, which know, give me the fear a wee bit.
But also, red rum is a famous horse, isn't it? So
yes,
and you could be horsing along on that bike. So
yes, certainly could. And the bike's red.
And the bike's red, yeah. So, but I'm going with the Overlook. I'm going to call it the Overlook. There you go.
Yes, I'm liking
it. And the star of the shiny. There you go.
Start with the shiny. Shiny. And it's
Shiny.
That is shiny.
All chrome and no work makes Jack a dull boy. All chrome and no polish makes the only look a dull bike. There you go.
Aye. No, that'd be. Let's see. The fact that it's ceramic coated and stuff should make it much easier to keep it clean. But yes, attention will still need to be paid for that.
Yep. Absolutely. Mr.
Pledge.
Sheen, pledge.
Aye.
That's it, you know.
Again,
Right, good, clean. I've got my auto glim foam thing working really well now. It's really cool.
Oh, aye,
You know,
the
so-
stuff's good. Aye, it is
Aye,
good.
so-
I'll give you that. So yes, again, if there is a group of you guys riding, then you can slash some of the luggage and share some stuff. So like puncture repair kits, cable ties and gaffer tape and first aid kits and all that kind of stuff. You can actually share it between you. And again, depending how well you know the people, you can actually maybe share footage as well. So if you've got some footage, other guys get other footage, or I mean, if you're happy to share it, then yeah, again, share away.
Yep.
We haven't talked about obviously multi-wearing of clothes. You mean the whole right way, backwards, inside out and round if you want to cut down the amount of underwear you're taking. But by all means, feel free.
Hey, if you're a thong wearer, you can get 6 days out of thong. You know? There's your thong. You wear it that way, and then you turn it once, wear it that way, turn it once, wear it that way, and then turn it inside out, and you get 3 more wears. There you go.
There you go.
Boom.
I can't imagine that's particularly comfortable on a bike, a thong.
No, absolutely not. But you know.
I haven't tried it.
Stranger things have been worn. You know.
Aye.
Thongs for the memories. There we go.
Memories we don't want. Yeah, hope that gives you a little bit of insight. If we have missed anything, again, give us a shout. Let us know.
If you pack anything different, you know, for something that's yours.
Exactly. And once I get back in May, we can have a chat about what I did use, didn't use, or what I
worked.
missed that I maybe had to buy on the road or wish I'd taken with me.
But bring home your Poundland purchases.
Bring home your Poundland purchases. Aye. We could do a review of Poundland purchases. Do you know what I mean? And there's another thing. Depending where you're going, also think about space for souvenirs. Because if you're buying wee knickknacks and things like that to bring back, you know what I mean, it might be worth factoring in space for some of that crap. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're planning to, I don't say use disposable t-shirts, but you mean go to Primark or something and buy t-shirts that are like £1 each.
And then just
every time you used it, throw it in the
recycling bin at the end, you know.
Or put it in one of these clothing kind of bin things so that they can take them and reuse them and give them to somebody else.
Yep.
I mean, I've heard folk doing that as well. Do you know what I mean? So yes,
it's a clothing version of the folk that go to a music festival, buy a cheap tent, go to a music festival for the weekend, and then there's just like a kind of tent amnesty pile where you just put your tents on it and they give them out to homeless people and all that. Do you know what I mean? Something like that, yeah.
Just do that with your riding t-shirts.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean you get less washing when you come back.
Yeah. Or you just basically tell everybody they're getting a fridge magnet, and that's it.
Aye, or just don't buy anything.
Well, that's it. That works for me. Don't buy anybody anything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Spend all your money in Guinness in the hotel that night.
If you want a souvenir for that place, you go there.
Aye.
As another option. But again,
here's your souvenir. It's called a Vimeo link to my video. There you go.
And I'm not even
I name checked you. I name checked you at John O'Groats. All right, there you go.
That's the other thing.
It's 3 years into the footage. You're gonna have to watch it all. But there we go.
And I'm not telling you where in the footage it is. The other thing that I've packed, which hasn't arrived yet but is en route, is stickers. So if you've got a channel
of course, yeah,
or something like that, or you just get your own thing and you want to advertise it, such, but you want to leave your remark saying that you were there, whether it be John O'Groats or Land's End or you mean Applecross or whatever it is, take your stickers with you. Don't forget your stickers. I have thought ahead and I've pre-planned and they're on their way.
Perfect, nice one. Because a lot of these places, you know, the sign at the start of the Applecross Road's covered in stickers. John O'Groats has got it all on the wall there.
There's a post at the top of there at the Blackna Bar. There's a big pole which everybody started putting stickers on as well now. So
cool.
One on there as well.
Yeah, nice one. Result.
See?
That's it. Yeah. So if you're up that way after Dan's done his trick, we'll have a look for the stickers. If you can get a picture next to the Average Bikers in a Cave sticker, send it to us. Love to see it. Be cool.
Aye, absolutely. And if we've got any stickers left, we'll send you one.
Yep, perfect.
There you go. That was the big,
Nice one.
the impromptu big question. Again,
Yes.
it's something that we were having on back burner.
Yeah.
We were trying to work through, but we had to kind of race through. Just obviously due to unforeseen circumstances. Again,
Circumstances. Yeah.
circumstances.
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 Unforeseen circumstances.
So yes, so there you go. Episode 33 is done.
Is the night when two become one.
I just had a thought,
you
what
go.
are we going to talk about? What are we going to thingy now? Because that's been our kind of go-to for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 shows.
You know, that's a very, very good question. Yeah.
Do you
That's
know
a
what I mean?
great question.
We kind of hung
You're
on.
going to have to start looking for a new motorbike, Dan.
No, aye, no. Actually, there's a point. You know, we need to start looking at names for my bike. I feel like my bike should have a name.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? But I don't know what.
Yeah.
So,
Oscar.
Oscar? Why Oscar?
That was the name. That was the name of my grandfather's double bass when he played a jazz band back in the 1940s.
Right.
You know, it's got nothing to do with your bike, but I just thought I'd
Was
throw it in there.
it,
You know
was
what
it orange? Do you know what I mean?
I mean? Exactly.
I don't know. There you go.
Yeah, aye. There's I mean, I don't know. Terry. Call it Terry.
What?
Terry's chocolate
Chocolate
orange.
Right, I got that one done. Right, that one done.
Right.
Right.
What's the name of your bike? That's Clementine, his son. You know what I mean?
No. That,
Oh my darling, oh my darling. Aye.
aye, no. Segment.
You could call it Maverick now that I'm not using Maverick, but then you would feel cheated that I stole it for the bike, wouldn't you?
That would feel just dirty. You know what I mean?
Aye.
That would feel wrong. You know what I mean? Although, however, now that you're not wrapping your bike because it's chrome,
Aye.
I might explore that as an option because you mean having been at the bike show, the Scottish bike show, and Harley having actual Harley, no West Coast, actual Harley, actually had
Pan America.
Pan America with the kind of the inverted decal kit that mine's has got. So mine's is orange with the black hints. There's
You get yours customized with your own number though, didn't you?
Aye, mine's has got my own number on it, whereas theirs is the default number that was on that one. Whereas I spoke to the guys and got my custom number. So, but it's one of those ones I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm now at the point where I'm going, maybe it's time for a change.
Yeah. That is the beauty of kits like that. They're not too expensive, and
No,
you can change them. Yeah.
Aye, and that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? Having 8 months of that kit, maybe just less than that. Actually, 7 months of that kit. It's one of those ones. I'll get the trip out the way, and then I'll think about it. You know what I mean? But now I'm thinking, could I do something like what you were thinking? And do
You could completely change it. I mean, because those wraps there'll be no orange showing it. You could completely change it. It'd be pretty cool.
So I don't know. We'll wait and see. I'll worry about that after the trip and stuff. But there you go.
You can get it done like an army mate and call it Sherman.
Well, see the GI, the Pan America GI special.
Aye, cool.
Of that, I think it looks absolutely minted, but they don't sell it here. Do you know what I mean? So is it maybe worth doing some sort of British Army themed thing? I don't know. I'll have a look.
That'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be worth it. Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Spitfire camouflage type thing or something like that. Or...
Aye, just something you know what I mean, a bit different. Do you know what I mean? But I do like the orange. That's the thing. Yeah. So, aye, who knows?
Yeah, that's the beauty of a wrap in it. The orange isn't going anywhere. It's just no showing for a wee while.
It's just not showing for a bit. Yeah. Once you get fed up, you take it off, and it's like having a brand new bike again.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But there you go. So
cool.
episode 33 is done. Again, thanks for listening, folks, to the ramblings of us, the average bikers, and supporting the episode each and every time we put it out. We're kind of hitting the one a month at the minute. I think we're obviously, as we come into biker season, we're going to pick that up a bit. We've obviously got Richie agreeing to come on the show, and we'll get that rearranged. We obviously need to go and have a chat with the guys at West Coast Triumph now that that's up and running, and now that Ian's their best pal because he's bought a Chrome. And again, probably a shout out to Ed at West.
Absolutely, Ed, brilliant, what a guy, top bloke. The Welsh wizard,
wizard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Genuinely nice guy, folks. If you're ever in the vicinity, pop in and see Ed, just such a nice guy. He's got loads of stories he can tell you.
He used to be an examiner for the bikes and all that. I mean, it was quite cool. He was giving us a whole pile of detail about why John's bike test was 11:42. It was all to do with unionising and adding 7 minutes onto a test and adding 9 minutes onto a break or 11 minutes onto a break and all that. And
Really?
so, and they insisted on adding all these.
Right,
So that's why your tests are all funny numbers. He's a fascinating guy to talk to. Absolutely brilliant.
you definitely
So we'll
need to
definitely
get
be chatting
into
about him
West Coast
soon.
Triumph. Definitely, because in there,
And then we'll
obviously-
just slag Simon off for his monkey bike.
aye,
Oh,
aye. So guys,
absolutely.
we've obviously tagged Sai Moto Photo. Some of he's bought a monkey bike, and it's just I've seen pictures of some of the big guys on it.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
It's so good. It's so good. That's what happens when your bike shrinks in the wash. You know what I mean?
Aye, honestly,
Brilliant.
it's just pure ripping. But there you go. So remember, but these are just the opinions of us, a group of average bikers. Anything you want to talk to us about, anything you think we've missed off the list, or any little nuggets that you think is worth sharing that you've learned over the years, please get in touch. How do they get in touch, Ian?
Well, how do they get in touch? Indeed, they get in touch via the wealth of social media contacts that we have, the plethora of things you can get in touch with us. You can email us at averagebikersinaCave@outlook.com. You can hit us up on Facebook. You can Instagram us on Instagram, whatever it is. DM us on Instagram, send us messages, tag us in your posts. We'd love to hear about all your biking escapades and fun and games. So please do get in touch. If Average Bikers is there, then give us a wee shout out. That would be really cool. And we will see you in the next episode, folks. But please do get in touch. Thank you again, as Darren says, for listening. If you keep listening, we'll keep talking. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but there we go. Yeah.
And next episode,
Certainly know what my wife says, to be fair. My wife says, if you keep talking, I'm going to stop listening. So, it's hopefully you guys are enjoying all this, guys and girls. So thank you very much, folks. Do get in touch, and we will see you in the next episode. And until then, remember, only a biker understands why a dog sticks his head out the car window.
the Diamond Dogs. What the effort of making that button? And we made it, and we've used it twice.
I know, but you know what? It's about quality, no quantity. Quality, no quantity.
We've had months we could have had that button running. No, we waited till you bought a bike.
No.
Oi.